Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Theodore Beaulieu, shouting out from literally from California. Hi. Hold on. I'm gonna try something. Hold on. What's going on? Now, mind you, I have this beautiful virtual background. I like it. I think it's really pretty, but I don't want no background. What about this background here? Let's try that one. I don't like that one either. So let's go back to my virtual background. No, actually, y'all, that's me. Uh, what about this one? No, it's too dark. Let's go back. Why y'all making things complicated? Don't make things complicated. Don't do that. Thank you. Hey everybody, what's going on? How you doing? It is 8:29 Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles, California. Now, mind you, if it's 8:29 here, I like to do the time zones too. It's 8:29 here. Everybody also too. I am from Timeless Hoodoo on Clubhouse. So I'm here to talk about Hoodoo and Conjure. I had a room open earlier on here. It's probably not saved up here. Earlier. It was so unfortunate. Y'all, it's 11:30 Pacific Standard Time in New York, 8:30 here in Los Angeles, 10:30 p.m. In Houston, 9:30 p.m. in Denver. Paris is 5:30 a.m. London is 4:30 a.m. Lagos, Nigeria is 5:30 a.m. And Sao Paulo is 1:30 a.m. Hubert, my ex, he is probably sleeping. Yes. You're probably sleeping, sweetie. Okay, keep that near me. So now that we have this settled, what you doing? Listen, ain't nobody here. I'm gonna go on Clubhouse. I'm gonna set up Clubhouse. So y'all, my witness. I'm setting up Clubhouse. I'm gonna, because folks like to say I don't go on Clubhouse. I don't know why they say that though. Hold on. I'm going on Clubhouse. You my witness. I'm going on Clubhouse now. Hold on. Here we go. Hold on. Listen, let's do late night Hoodoo hangout. Uh-oh. Listen, tonight is Supernatural Saturday. Late night. Yo, I haven't read my book either. I haven't read my book. Late night Hoodoo hangout. Hold on. Hang. Yeah. Late night Hoodoo hangout. Y'all, earlier today, you know what it was? I just had to get something to eat. And I felt odd. Really bad. So I had a room open for a little bit. But it felt so weird though. Hold on. No, if I put on music, they won't be able to hear me. Hey, one person. Who's that, Otter? Hey, baby Otter, I appreciate you. Who's that? That's Otter. Hey, baby, I appreciate you. Listen, this is gonna be me and Otter. Hold on. Hello, everyone. And then give a little hug. A little hug. Hey, baby. It's just gonna be me and Otter. Ain't nobody coming up in the room. So listen, since it's me and her, I might as well just teach her. Cause see, Otter don't mind when I teach. Everybody else want me to entertain and just act up. But let me put my bush up here. There we go. So listen, I was on a little bit earlier, and it was so absolutely unfortunate because of the fact whereas I literally was tired. And I had no idea that I was tired. I don't have no crumbs on my mouth, do I? No. I was tired, girl. So that's my excuse, and that's what I'm sticking with. Hallelujah. Now listen, I want to find another background. No, I could do that later. No, but what I do want to talk about tonight is like denaturing of sweet things, changing honey. What I mean by that, there's a processes concerning conjure. You know how we use sugars and sweetness in our medicine jars, our candle work, honey, molasses, agave, things like that. You can change the nature of those things by adding high proof alcohol. Um, usually adding high proof alcohol, but you can also change the nature of those things by adding powdered roots to them. You can change honey until literally an elixir of lust by by basically having finely pounded ghost pepper or basically red pepper and basing that finely powdered red pepper inside that vessel of honey. Over time, it's going to turn that honey into a hot essence. Used on its own, that honey becomes a vessel of just lust. Because in love work, honey, when you love work, when you add pepper, just increase the speed, especially if you add a little cinnamon to it. So we're going to talk about how we can talk about that a little bit. How to change. It's called distillation, or spiritual distillation. But I've only heard the word in French, but I can't say it because I don't speak French. Basically, the word means to change something from its original nature to the next nature itself. So that's a process to do that. It is a change. It is a type of transmutation. It really isn't, but it's just going about changing something from its original nature to the next nature. Definitely. Okay. Well, there we go, right there. Hold on, drop it. Hold on. I'm going to add a link to the thing. Oh, have you heard the song by Lady Gaga? That song called, what's the song called? Abracadabra. Do you like it? I love it. I think it's amazing. Abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. Never mind. But I absolutely like it. I think it's a hot song. There we go. Abracadabra. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, I got chills from it. Isn't it wonderful? I love that song. It's very, very nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. I thought it was amazing, especially the bridge. The bridge is really wonderful too. Okay, so listen, for presentation reasons. Now, when we talk about honey, now listen, here we go. And the thing I love about it, thank you so much, Anna. I sure do appreciate you. Okay, hold on. Now, do I have the thing right here? Yes, I do. I'm gonna keep this page open. So I still want to talk about the Hoodoo elders. I don't know what the hell was going on with me the other day. Oh my Lord. It was just bad. I don't know. It was awful. No, not the other day, a few hours ago. Oh my God, it was just so bad. Here we go, share the screen. Now the screen we're going to share, there it is right there. Share that one. Thank you so much. I've just been tired all day long. And I didn't want to be on here, but I knew I had to be. Now, distillation. Now, come on, let's take honey. Okay, adding honey. Hold on. You go over there. There you go. Now we're going to take good old honey. Now, when you take honey and pepper, now look how pretty honey is. Honey is just such a pretty, pretty element. But mind you, now hold on. Now let's look at hot honey. Because honey can be changed through pepper, but honey can be changed through alcohol too. Now, mind you, when you take, let's say you take Everclear. Now, I've seen Mike's Hot Honey. Mike's Hot Honey is sinful. But you take this honey like this right here. Why is it taking so long to come up? You see how they've taken that honey and just made it into hot honey. Now, mind you, there's a whole process right here. Look at this all hot ass honey. There's a whole process right here. Where you just take that honey and make it super, super hot. Now, this type of honey, mind you, strain out the hot peppers. This type of honey, now over time, that honey is going to get hot. It's going to have a hot tang to it. Now, this type of honey you would use for love work. Also, too, this hot honey You go ahead and add, of course, mojo. You would add rose oil oil, a little bit of, here's another image right here. Look at this old hateful ass honey. Now, hot honey is good on fried chicken or fried nuggets or something like that. Hot honey. But hot honey is also good for lust work. See how they, I'm getting this right here. They take regular honey. Hold on. And then they add pepper to it. See that right there? Now, mind you, add pepper to it. Or no, add always dry pepper, because if you add jalapenos and honey, especially if they're wet, they're not going to last for long, because that honey has a tendency to squeeze the water out of them. So the water will separate inside the honey. Now you got something moldy and ugly looking. It'll get a mold that just look really, really bad. Look at all this food that they got right there. Look at all that food. Now, I already ate. I don't feel the same thing. But anyway. But no, but that was a pretty good graphic video. No, but definitely taking honey and adding it to pepper, adding pepper to it, really truly is a wonderful, wonderful mojo. And again, of course, you take that red pepper, leave it in honey for a little bit. Let's look at that again. That is so pretty. You take that honey and add it to that red pepper. That becomes an elixir again of lust, but also really heat love affair. Oh, heat energy, mojo, and love itself. It's really quite miraculous. Just honey, red pepper, and red pepper, rose odo, powdered orris root, also what's another root too? We just talked about it. Oh, powdered wisteria. Wisteria adds one thing. Wisteria is absolutely optional. You don't have to add wisteria, but you do have to have a powdered rose, powdered orris root. Queen and slate you can add. That's optional if you want to. There's another one you have to add too. Oh, calamus root to draw someone in. Powdered calamus root. Now, mind you, that if you want to, you can add Damiana root too as well. And this will create a beautiful, beautiful honey. And not just put everything in the honey itself, let it sit there for quite a few months in a beautiful amber bottle. What happens is that you now have a honey, a sweet elixir that is absolutely wonderful and that can really truly draw in somebody. But because that honey's hot, it's hot in nature, of course that's going to give it, it's going to give it a certain type of vibration because of the capsaicin that's inside that honey. Capsaicin is absolutely considered a beautiful, beautiful magical herb too. So, hey, Sage Honey, how you doing? So the capsaicin absolutely is going to have a big effect. No, did y'all see that? Did it change on here too? Did it actually change? I just want to see something. Okay, hold on. Put it down here. Let's see what it does. Oh, that's lovely. It does change it. How cool. And then, okay, it does change. Very nice. Okay, cool. Now that's honey. Now, what if you go about taking honey? Is this for eating? No, honey. No. This is for, like I said, a sweet jar, like a love jar, a lust jar. It's for jar work. Oh, thank you. That's a great question. This is like, for instance, a lot of our love jars, everybody. We're going to have, let's say you take a mason jar. At the very bottom, you put your roots, your name paper. Name paper is your name or the person's name. The target's name 9 times. Name and birthday, please, 9 times. That's called a name paper. Then you go add the petition. Please make sure you write your petition in present tense. I know, and thank you very much. It's very sweet of you. Make sure you write your name. Make sure you write your petition in present tense, definitely. Now, and then also to valerian root. Well, whatever root you decide to add, that's called the foot of the jar itself. I'm also going to recommend that you put a little bit of sulfur and sea salt too. Sulfur and sea salt. Thank you so much. Put the sulfur and sea salt right on top of each other, just a tiny bit, just a dash. You don't need that much. That's to protect the magic, to make sure that nothing can get in front of it, Let nothing. Also, too, if the person you're casting for, the person you're doing the spiritual on for, if there's any negative influence, such as a really nasty spell that's being cast on him or her, if somebody's casting, trying to take them away from you, if there's any other type of mojo that's going on, somebody's working on them. With the sulfur and the little bit of sulfur that you put inside the very bottom of the jar, as well as the sea salt, the tiny, it's just a pinch of each. Powdered sulfur, powdered sea salt at the very bottom before you put anything else in. Um, that would keep the magic that are going about the conjure they're creating. It'll have very, very little effect, if at all. It won't have any effect. None. Pretty much. So, absolutely. Now, hold on. So then put that down there, and of course, after you put your little dash of sulfur as well as sea salt, then I'll go ahead and add valerian root, because this is a love jar. Valerian root. After valerian root, what else can you put in? Orris root. And calamus. Pretty much calamus. Now, I'm going to bind that with blackstrap molasses. Now, when I say bind it, what are you talking about? Binding. Binding becomes, now mind you, when we bind something, especially if this is meant to keep sticky, that means to keep something whole, to keep something to yourself. The intention of making sure that we lock this intention in. Molasses basically is caramelized sugar. Now mind you, this is cane sugar, right? But it's cane sugar that's went through the process, that's been liquefied. Therefore, it has a beautiful sense of potency. Also, too, not only is it sweet, I like the sugar cane. Sugar cane is very, very powerful. Mojo-wise, sugar cane has a lot of mojo. The sugar cane leaves when you dry them up, even the cane itself, when you dry them up in the sun, you get that cane as dry as you can get it, you pulverize it. That cane powder is beautiful. It's wonderful for spiritual protection. That cane powder is also good for dry money. That cane powder is also good for the dust pit in your shoes for good luck. It's good for gambling. It's going to bring money to you when you get the showbutt house. Even if you're the gambler, even if you have the gambler's card, that the gambling place, it's good for that. And it is absolutely wonderful. That's just the sugar cane, the stalk. Listen, cut them up. Take a machete. Then what you can do, take a machete, cut them up, or cut them in two. And we like to chew on them. Don't touch them. Leave the sugar in them and let them dry. Hey, great, Sister Monica, honey. I'll be doing fine, honey. Leave the sugar in them. Hold on. There we go. Leave the sugar in them. Oh, y'all don't need to see me. Come on. Here we go, honey. Now let's go. Oh, here we go. Yeah, leave the sugar in them, and let's go the number G again. There you go. Yeah, let's show my number G again. Now, what was I talking about? Because every time I see myself, I get distracted. Hold on. No, there we go. Oh, here we go. Now, what I'm going to do, let's go to the hot honey. To the hot honey part. Is what I want to do. There we go. To the hot honey. Because I want to show up with that hot honey. Now we're going to go about, take that honey, and then we're going to do the everclear. Now, I'll just say, hey, Sister Monica, now understand something. Look at right there. They make honey look so pretty. You know what I mean? With the honey I like. That honey is gorgeous. I think honey is so pretty. Isn't that a beautiful picture? That's a pretty picture right there. It has a little spoon and the honey. The honeycomb. Now that's beautiful placement. That's beautiful. That's really, really pretty how that did that. Now hold on. Now honey and Everclear. Now, when it comes, now y'all know that liquor and spirit jars. What does liquor do in spirit jars? Now sometimes, especially if you have somebody who is not reticent to magic, somebody who's oppositional, somebody who's bigoted and don't know how to act, or let's say you have a boyfriend or girlfriend who's having a hard way, or you want to get back with them. The best way to wear down the defenses is going to be alcohol. So let's say you put together that spirit jar, and at the very last end, you're going to put in 2 capfuls of rum, 2 capfuls of whiskey, Uncle Nearest or Jack Daniels, or 2 capfuls of Everclear. Now, when you go about taking these spiritual sweetness, such as agave, black bee honey, regular honey too, agave, molasses, and other liquid sweetness. When you go about adding something like Everclear, which is it's so high in alcoholic content, when you go about adding that, when you add that to a spirit jar, remember, this alcohol itself basically it's grain alcohol. This is the spirit of that plant, of that grain. It is its spirit self. When it's been denatured, it's been it's been augmented. It's went through fermentation. This is its spiritual self. Mind you, we're dealing with root work, the art and spirit of plants. Utilize the spirit of plants in order to manipulate the world around us. Alcohol, or spirit as it's called, is a wonderful spiritual rudimentary understanding form of that plant itself. Now, Everclear is. What the hell is Everclear? I know it's just hot as hell. It's not whiskey, and it's not vodka either. Is it vodka? I know it's hateful. It's just hateful. It's great. It's grain alcohol. Now, that's the spirit of those grains. Absolutely. It's the soul of that plant. Spiritual form. It's been fermented, changed to the least common denominator of that plant itself, growing in the sun. So, mind you, when it goes into a spirit jar, especially if you have a target, what it's going to do to that person is that it's going to make them feel loopy. What does alcohol do to you when you drink it? It makes you feel loopy. It makes you uninhibited. But that's exactly what it's going to do. That's the intention. That's what it's going to do to the person, hopefully. Usually it just makes them, if anything, it'll just make them uninhibited. Now, if you pick, when you take that blackstrap molasses at the very bottom, you have your root, you have your blackstrap molasses. Put a capful in that blackstrap molasses. Don't not a cap, half a cap. Just mix a tiny bit of that blackstrap molasses at your root itself. Let's get it started, man. You're gonna have your 7, however many roots you're gonna have. You're gonna undulate them, make them look pretty. Then after you have your roots, because then you're gonna have to have your sugars to sweeten things. Then just put 2 capfuls of Everclear inside the roots, and then you'll have your undulated sugars. Then once that's in, then you're gonna put in your Everclear. Now, here's where things get wonky. If this is a love jar, sometimes, not all the time, especially if David's doing a lot of love work for the men folks, because it seems like every spring, these old men, some of them not old, they want to go date around and cope with these old young ass girls. Going into July and August, June, July, August. Now, take some honey, about a 14-ounce jar. You're going to put in at least about 3, 4, 5 tablespoons of Everclear. Put that to the side. You may want to put in some dried rose petals in it. a little bit of cinnamon. But the cinnamon should be on the bark. The cinnamon bark, break it into small pieces. Now, what is that going to do? Hey, Lisa, Selena, honey. Now, what is that going to do? Now, after about 2 or 3 months, I want you to take that top off, and I want you to smell that honey. It's going to be the most lovely smell, most lovely cinnamon smell, most feminine smell you've ever smelled. It is honey that's laden, of course, with that high alcohol content. This is the honey that you can put inside that love jar. That honey at the very bottom, if you don't want to use blackstrap molasses. This is the honey that you can utilize. It could be a third, because you have brown honey and yellow honey. That could be a third. Or it can replace that yellow honey as the honey that you put in with that brown honey. Mind you, that has spirit in it. It's going to make it much more conducive to go about working with. And it's going to go about working to get at that person, making them much more uninhibited, especially if you know what, if he's a type, not a type one. He's just very conservative. Yeah. All of a sudden, he's going to have his paws all over you, looking at you funny. So you can also do the same thing with Southern Comfort, with honey. Now, with blackstrap molasses likes whiskey. You've always going to mix whiskey. But blackstrap molasses likes moonshine, definitely. Always understand you need the right amount. Always make sure you have more of the sweetener than the alcohol itself. Hey, Latonya, honey. Hi. I hope you're doing fine. I have to always make sure. Now, how is everybody? I hope you're doing fine. Oh, very good. Now, I feel like I went home. I just had a whole minute for it, and all I'm doing is just talking. If y'all have any questions to nature and sweetness themselves. Sweetness themselves can be made and can be transmuted into much more of a cohesive, an agent of coercion, even more so by just adding alcohol. You can also add a few roots and powdered roots to that as well, and then just store it for 3 to 4 months. It's going to have the loveliest smell, the loveliest fragrance, and that'll be good for putting in the spirit jars in case if you want to be much more cohesive. It's on early. I felt just all right. You get it. Yeah, I'm feeling a little more. I feel a lot better. All right. Let's take it out for him. Because I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not really ready to show anything. Okay, now, another thing too. When you are dealing with, let's say, Everclear, when you're pitting spirit inside of the spirit jar, never use more than 2 capfuls. The reason why you don't use more than 2 capfuls is because it makes the target loopy. They can't make good decisions, and you don't necessarily want to have a relationship under that type of loopiness. No, because him or her are not necessarily going to. What's the word? When you use alcohol, it plies down the inhibitions. It feels like they're not always in their right sense of mind. They're in the right sense of mind, but something is missing. Mind you, this is good work to do if you want to take Everclear and steep it with someone who's depressed. Skullcap, Astragalus root, Angelica root, Spectre. Those are Holy Trinity. Those are exorcism roots right there. That's really, really good. But also to place with a little bit of mother's word and mother comfrey. You can also use gravel root as well. That'll add the spiritual content, make it more. It can tap into the spirit a whole lot more. That's what I mean to say. Okay, very good. Y'all, it's 8:50. It's not even 9 o'clock up here yet. What time is it in New York? Oh, Chinese 12 a.m. Somebody else supply. Hold on. Well, I can't put the headphones up enough because then y'all won't be able to hear it. I think. Hold on, y'all. All right, so y'all can hear me a little bit better. I know because y'all can hear me on Clubhouse. Not too much anyway. Could y'all hear me on Clubhouse a little bit? A tiny bit? Okay, a little bit. I know you can hear me now with my headphones in. All right. Now, mind you, on YouTube, do y'all have any questions? Because at least 4 of y'all are new to it, to concerning Conjure and what Conjure actually is. If you have any questions, just put them in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer. No questions. Okay. All right. Well, I could be the story though. Hold on. Hey, Otta, how you doing, honey? Hi, Otta. Oh, that's so amazing, honey. Whose birthday is it? Oh, happy birthday, honey. Tell them happy birthday.
I'm just getting all the stuff washed up. I gotta, you gotta clean the kitchen first.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, tell them happy birthday, definitely. Let's just say tell them happy birthday.
Oh, I will. Thank you so much.
You're
so
welcome,
I'm popping in and out.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Oh, that's amazing. Well, happy birthday, baby. Now, also too, now when y'all go on, oh, hold on now, y'all, I'm on X something. I'm not going to that site. That site had too much porn on it. That's the devil. Get off of me. No, that's not for YouTube. Girl, listen, I'm going on to get the news and get slapped upside the head with a penis. That's not.
On Twitter.
On the site in the formula. No. It is X, all right. It is X because it's X-rated.
I was gonna say that.
It's X-rated. It's horrible. Oh my goodness. So bad. Now hold on. Well, they have a book for Hoodoo. But that's not Sister Angela's book. That's something else. Okay, now. Well, this is lovely right here. Oh. Let me see something. Let me just get a good idea right here to talk about definitely. Yeah, this thing right here. That is so sweet. But that's not what
I want to ask you about something since it's Supernatural Saturday.
Yeah, honey, that's not what that is. Oh, continue. It is Supernatural Saturday. Go on, honey. Absolutely.
Okay, so I never search these videos out, but they always come across my TikTok. It's videos of Black folks that are buying up former, plantation homes and things like that, either where their ancestors were enslaved or just ones in the areas they grew up in, and getting ownership of them. And the comments are really divided, and people are like, oh, this gives me such bad, I'm scared, like all this stuff. And then I saw a few people saying like, and I do halfways agree, and people are saying, we're protected because they're not here to hurt us. But my question to you, because I do mostly agree with that, but
that's not always the case though.
That's what I'm saying. So I do believe that, they're protected by some of those spirits in a sense, especially maybe if they have ancestry there. And I held off from saying anything about it, but I was like, these haints are out to get anybody, though. It doesn't matter to them who you are.
Mm-hmm. That's not always the case. I'm going to tell you something. There are plenty of stories. There are plenty of stories. Whereas, okay, I'm like right now, I typed in haunted plantations, Louisiana, because we're going to do a little presentation about that. And I'm just going to share. That's probably what we're going to do, the Murders Plantation. Mind you, there's a young sister on here haunted by slave spirits. Myrtle Plantation is haunted by slave spirits. You know what? That's actually a really good idea. So I'm gonna present and show. Hold on. I love her candles. Here we go.
Hello you all, I'm Black Witch Yaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. And today, yet again, we are in the South. And usually when people think of the South, immediately they think of the Bible Belt. It's just a whole bunch of Bible-carrying Christians walking around praising the Lord. But in actuality, in my belief, I feel like we have the most spiritual folklore, beliefs, paranormal activity, crazy stories. Majority of the time, when people send me a story that they want to share on my channel, more than likely they live in the South, because the South is just where all the culture is at. So today we are in the South again, and usually these type of stories take place in states like Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, or in Louisiana, where we are today, but not in New Orleans like usual. We are in a small town right outside of New Orleans by the name of St. Francisville, and we are on the Myrtles Plantation. And this is going to be one of my many haunted house stories. Y'all don't mess with these slaves, not the spirits coming back to get y'all type of story, for spooky season, since Halloween is approaching. Now, for the Myrtles Plantation, this specific home is not only the most haunted house in Louisiana, the South, but the entire United States of America. And that's what we're going to talk about today. You may be wondering what happened, how did Myrtles Plantation get the title of the most haunted house in the USA? Let's take it all the way back to 1796. The Myrtles Plantation was built in 1796 by General David Bradford, a successful attorney known for his involvement in the Whiskey Revolution. The Whiskey Rebellion was a tax protest against the federal government's taxation of whiskey production. Bradford was a leader of the rebellion in western Pennsylvania and was involved in organizing meetings and protests against the tax. This was the government's first time trying to implement a tax, and I guess whiskey was the wrong thing to tax. So there was a march on Pittsburgh orchestrated by David. No deaths took place, but just a bunch of damage of property. Since the U.S. government was new.
Now, mind you, can I get copyright struck using utilize the scales whole video? This sister's whole video.
I think as long as you credit her, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna credit her then. Because I don't want to get in too much trouble. But no, this is, I came across this earlier. This is actually quite wonderful.
Many people just listen to David. So it was so much chaos going on that it caught the attention of George Washington. George Washington pulled up with 1,300 soldiers to David and was like, oh, what was said? Oh, we heard you ain't like the way I was running stuff, so what happened? And basically told him to get his behind up out of Pennsylvania. And that's when he ran away and made his way down to Louisiana. So he got his footing in Louisiana. He built the Myrtles Plantation. So before David Bradford decided to make the Myrtles Plantation his little hideout, this was actually sacred land owned by the Tanika tribe. When he was building the Myrtles Plantation, he ran up on a grave site of bodies, and instead of stopping right there after realizing that this is sacred land, he decided to dig up all the bodies and burn them. In 1820, the Myrtles Plantation gained a new resident, but he did not move in alone. Clark Woodruff married David Bradford's daughter, Sarah Bradford. He moved in, married Sarah to help take care of her elderly mother and also to help run the plantation. So I'm assuming you guys know we are in the 1800s, so when I say the word plantation and Clark Woodruff moved in to help run the plantation, he came in to be another slave owner because he actually owned a bunch of slaves himself. He was a horrible person and a horrible husband because he was cheating on his wife by sexually abusing one of the slaves on the property by the name of Chloe, and she is going to play a pivotal part in the story. So remember the name Chloe. So before I finish this story, I do want to give a trigger warning for abuse and assault because Clark Woodruff would consistently and continuously R-word Chloe. Chloe, of course, tried to protect herself from this assault, and during this time, slaves found out the more information that they knew on their slave owners, getting to know their patterns, what time do they leave, what time do they wake up, what's the first room they walk to when they wake up, how long do they spend in the bathroom. Learning those patterns and different routes that they take would, in the end, sometimes help them for protection, being able to avoid them. Of course, Chloe took all this information trying to learn more about them, But she took it a step further. She would also eavesdrop on conversations as well to see if she could hear someone saying, "Oh, I'm going into town at this time. Someone's going to take a nap for the rest of the day." She wanted to get as much information as possible so she know where not to be when Clark was doing whatever he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the slaves also warned her, like, okay, you in the house, you got this close access to them. Don't get caught eavesdropping. And that's exactly what happened. One day, Chloe was
Okay, now she's coming upon a story. It's a little bit deeper than that. Now, we know about Chloe. The reason why Chloe started eavesdropping specifically because of the simple fact, whereas, mind you, when Chloe was there, they had up to 15 other female slaves that were there. Chloe was the only one that he absolutely was sexualizing. But Chloe was his favorite because she worked in the house. Mind you, he was a really, really horrible husband. And he was even a more horrible slave owner. Now, the sister's right about that. Now, the reason why they were eavesdropping is because the Myrtle Plantation was one of the most infamous plantations, whereas it was considered a plantation that was constantly selling slaves, constantly. So you can say that this plantation was it was a hub for bringing in new slaves, working them out, getting slaves, because mind you, taking slaves from further up north, like of course the Carolinas, Georgia, the ground down there, the agricultural practices concerning cotton, indigo, sugarcane. These are things that most of these slaves, the dirt is different, the agricultural environment is different. So Myrtle Plantation was considered to be, I hate to say this, but like a training ground for the enslaved. So, mind you, whole families were being brought there. So eavesdropping was a thing to see what slaves were going to be taken. Mind you, there have been plenty of slaves that have left the Myrtle Plantation or ran away from the Myrtle Plantation. They had these brothers and sisters had to know when and how things were going to be. Like, listen, are we about to be sold? This is why the eavesdropping took place. Now, white folks have taken this to romanticize it slightly, as they always do. That Myrtle was eavesdropping so that eavesdropping because she liked the plantation owner, that she had romantic ganderings to him. Girl, they say all kinds of bullshit. Now that could have been true because Stockholm syndrome is a thing, but
Absolutely.
what was really going on, because she wasn't the only one, but she was the only one caught, because the other slaves were eavesdropping as well, especially the older slaves. This was their idea of keeping tabs on who was going to be sold. Also, too, hold on, y'all. Oh, there we go. I have to get myself comfortable. Okay. Not only who was going to be sold, what plantation they were going to. Now, slaves themselves, of course, they had a whole entire communication system. There were free people of color that would communicate between the plantations. That also they were allies. Slaves also too. There were slaves that were allowed to go off the plantation because they were tradesmen, basically horseshoeing, husbandry, dealing with cows, dealing with the livestock. There were also slaves that were lent out to other plantations. So they could absolutely go back and forth to plantations. They'd pass along this information to see which plantations were there, who's coming. Also, too, to lead on concerning revolt, or if slaves wanted to leave. All types of information was being passed on from plantation to plantation by men who, of course, would pass on this information. So listening, mind you, the Myrtle Plantation was infamous for selling people, was infamous for its maltreatment of people. They really wanted to know exactly what was going on. So this is one of the reasons why Chloe and other slaves were so intent on eavesdropping, to learn and understand how to better control their lives in the best way that they could.
I see. So it was for that kind of information, not just for whatever.
Yeah, they made it out that she didn't want to be sold. Of course, now I can understand that was part true. More than likely, she may have felt that she didn't want to be sold. She grew up on that plantation, so of course her aunts, several of her uncles, her mother had passed by the time that all these events had passed on. Her natural mother had passed on, I think from tuberculosis or consumption, which consumption. So the thing is that they say that she wanted to make herself useful, but well, this sister should tell you what really happened to her. But this was the reason why they were eavesdropping. Also, too, she was not the only slave. It was actually quite custom to eavesdrop or to drop heavy or to lend your ear. Well, because mind you, plantations back then, they had the really, especially the really big ones, they had inner walls, whereas you wouldn't see the slaves. Much like what you see in um, the the real estate or in the aristocracy in Great Britain, where they had places inside the walls. They would ring for dinner. The staff would appear from doorways inside the wall. They would give the dinner. Instead of just walking through the halls with the people who inhabited the house, who owned the house,
so they had like back stairs and like hidden rooms and things.
Absolutely. Murder Plantation absolutely had that, especially in the eating area, the upstairs, the main upstairs bedroom too, as well as some of the cellar areas that were there. They had those, but they've since been torn down and then added, made larger to other rooms. The only back room that has not been torn down is, of course, the back walls concerning the eating areas, but only because it goes into the brick foundation of the house. To do that, it would make that area of the house structurally unsafe. But yes, she absolutely was listening.
Caught with her left ear to the bedroom door.
Go ahead on, honey.
I was going to say, that is upsetting to learn the reasons why, because all you ever hear is that she was a gossip. She was like, just, like she just wanted, they weren't saying that she was listening for like that important information. They just wanted to make it seem like she was a busybody and like all this other stuff. So that's upsetting to learn.
Yeah, because it's told from white folks. That's what they think about us. No. If you understand slave politics, now being a Black historian and understanding slave politics the way I do what my ancestors have, we don't care what white folks are talking about. We only care, one, how they're going to treat us. Two, who's going to be in trouble. Three, first, one, how are things going to be during that day? Now, on a plantation daily, you have elders. Now, there are people that cannot necessarily go out into the field because they're too old. These elders were also of use as well. Sometimes, depending on their skin color, depending on who they were, and how well the family knew them, especially these older women, elder women, they were brought inside to make quilts, to make handy goods, to wash, to sew, to darn, to cook, or to be cook helpers. Now, these elder women were always really, really underestimated, and they'd be the ones to pass out information concerning sales ships. Of course, the health of the plantation. Because if a plantation is not doing well, then that means we're all going to sold. You have whole entire families that have been born on here, so we need to know the interest and the health of the plantation. A lot of the elders would pass this information on because they were always underestimated. So we only cared about the politics of the plantation. We didn't really care about anything else, especially if a man is touching on you, raping on you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're not interested in him or his family. So it's unfortunate how they've made Chloe into this busybody. Now, mind you, when she put the oil in the cake, they're going to say basically that she wanted to be needy. She did it to make them sick so she could take care of them, so she didn't want to be sold. That's halfway true. But that's not true. Chloe was a root worker. She knew exactly what to put in. She killed who she was meant to kill.
I see. So it wasn't on accident like a lot of these people say.
It was not on accident at all. She killed who she wanted to kill. She wanted to kill everybody, to be quite frank with you, because he did have planned on selling them. Here we go.
Of Clark and Sarah Woodruff. And as a punishment, Clark cut off her left ear. Chloe's left ear was cut off, and Clark, realizing what he did, now he's like, oh, now my pretty little doll has a flaw. Let's cover that up. He made her cover up where her ear used to be with the green turban to wrap around her head and keep it wrapped at all times so he wouldn't have to see it. So he assaulted her, then gets insulted by the result of the assault. So during this time, Chloe was silent She was angry. She was plotting out her revenge. She didn't know what to do or how to do it until an opportunity presented itself one day. It was the children's birthday, and who else better to make a cake than the house servant, Chloe? So Chloe took this as her opportunity to poison the cake. She took the juice of an Orlander leaf, mixed it inside the cake, and served it to the family for a good old happy birthday. Now, there are a few takes on this story. On one side, it's told that she actually wanted to poison and kill the entire family to free herself, to free the slaves, just so they could just get rid of everyone at once. And on the other end, it said that she didn't want to kill the family. She just wanted to make them really sick and then nurse them back to health so she could get back in the good graces of Clark. Like, look, I just saved your family. Keep me in the house. Don't make me work in the fields as a punishment anymore. So it's two takes on it. I think she just wanted to kill them because I'm not. Why not? You're gonna nurse them back to health, and they're gonna treat you the same way. So I feel like she just wanted.
Yeah, we're in the house. We're in more of the thinking that she just wanted to kill them. That's how Aunt Jet tells it. That's how Annie Mae has told it. That's how Aunt Josie has told this story. That she wanted to kill them, but understand, being that the murder plantation was such a hot spot for trading slaves concerning Southern agriculture, especially concerning cotton, indigo, alfalfa, as well as also too. There was another larger plantation that was a trading ground for slaves that were coming more up north, concerning Arkansas, oh sweet Lord, and Georgia, concerning sugarcane. Sugarcane itself, that was a larger plantation. All they did was sugarcane. Sugarcane is a very, very rough crop. It is heavy. It is a hard crop to grow. It is really, truly backbreaking, more backbreaking than cotton. So they had to condition these men and women. They had to condition the slaves, and I hate to use these words, but they had to condition these people in order to train them, in order to raise that sugarcane. So that plantation, murder plantation, was always opposed. People were going in, and whole families were always constantly being sold. So more than likely, she was there to kill them. Now, that kind of goes against with understanding, because with slaves themselves, remember, what they don't say is that murder plantation slaves were always escaping. Murder plantation is right by a very big river. I forget the name. I think it's called the Ohatchee River that's there. Slaves were constantly escaping. So more than likely, she wanted to kill them and then escape. Chloe was a very, very smart woman, and she was a hoodoo. She knew about those herbs. She knew how much to give. She knew how much, as a root worker, and a botanical, and also using roots to heal, you know how much to give. So, and to this day, I keep forgetting why she didn't kill him. I don't think he ate enough of the cake.
Right. So, of course, as planned, when the mother and the children were
accidental.
No, it was not by accident at all.
For eating the cake, they grew very, very sick and ended up dying from their sickness. So Clark is pissed off. He's trying to figure out what happened, who did it, and then the slaves, like I told you before, they warned Chloe, like, hey, you need to stop eavesdropping. She didn't listen, got her ear cut off, and then now they didn't want to face the punishment of what Chloe did because they knew Clark favored Chloe, even though he was still being an asshole to her. They knew that he favored Chloe, so they said, listen, we ain't finna take the punishment for you. You did it. So they said, hey, Chloe's the one that punished them, that poisoned them. She was trying to do it the whole time, blah, blah, blah. They turned against her. So Clark stormed inside the house, drug Chloe out the house. He didn't want to kill her, so he made the slaves hang her. Once she died, he threw her in the swamps behind the plantation.
That's not necessarily true at all. It says that the slaves turned against her, and that they killed her on her own out of beloved of him. I've heard those stories over and over again. And Jet has always said that Chloe had put up such a fight in self-defense, he cut her throat. Now it says that he lynched her. Did not, he cut her throat. She put up such a fight to whereas he in defense, and mind you, this is a man against a woman, he ended up beating her to death, then lynching her. Mind you, it said that they had the slaves do it. He did not have the slaves do it. The slaves did not want to do it. He ended up killing her himself. Now remember, Clark was a gentleman farmer. He was considered himself a Christian. So it would not look kindly upon him to kill. I don't know how these people are able to do this. I just tell you the madness of white folks. But anyway, he didn't want to be seen in his congregation to have killed one of, because people would know of Chloe. White folks that came over, Chloe would greet them. She worked in the house. They would know her. They probably liked her. Mind you, she was Gentile slave working in the house. She probably had great manners. She probably grew up in the house itself. To kill someone like that would be looked very kindly, would not be looked very highly upon. Remember also, too, this is antebellum South. He is still trading with these people. He does not want to be known as one of the ignorants who rapes their slaves, who beats their slaves. This is considered to be very ignorant. So he wanted to save face. So there's so much contrasting understanding of who killed Chloe. The story goes she killed Chloe. Now, mind you, that story comes from a house slave, an older house slave by the name of Fay Fay. Fay, I think it's Fay Fay or Fay Smith or Fay Ann. She witnessed everything. She witnessed Chloe's hitting him. She witnessed Chloe jumping on him and biting and gnashing at him. And she witnessed him take out his knife and slash her throat, then blaming it on the slaves.
And he threw her in the swamps to get rid of her body and also for the alligators to go ahead and eat her. Now when guests visits the Myrtle's plantation, because you can visit this place, some guests report that they see a woman from the waist up coming up from the swamps, a beautiful black woman with her head wrapped in a green turban. So there is an alternate ending to this story because, as we know, during this time, a lot of blame was placed on slaves. In this ending, it is documented that the mother and children didn't die from poisoning. They died from yellow fever. So it's reported that the wife knew that the husband was sleeping with Chloe. The wife grew jealous of Chloe, so she was running around town spreading rumors about her. So that's how the first lie was made, like, oh, the mother and the children died. Chloe must have did it to get closer to the husband. So you guys let me know what you think happened in that instance. If you're from this town, you heard of the story before, what were you told? There are many translations of it, but let me know the version you heard or what do you believe. Mm-hmm. Also, that's why some say the reason she haunts the land because she was unfairly killed because she didn't poison the family, but yet that blame was put on her. And one of the children didn't even die. We're going to hear more about her. She lived a long life until 71. So after Chloe's death, the plantation was a site of just gruesome activity. Keeping up with the spirit of Chloe, we're going to fast forward a little bit to 1992, then we're going to rewind. So the current owners in 1992 took a photo of the home just to get the structure and the layout and the condition of the roof for insurance purposes. And then they noticed once the photo was developed, there was a strange shadow of a person in the photo. After the photo was examined, they realized it was the height and shape of an average woman, with her hair wrapped up. And once learning about the stories that took place on this property, they came to the conclusion that it was the spirit of Chloe floating around, making her presence known to the new owners. Also, there's documentation of guests reporting that they also see two little blonde girls running around in the rain, but they somehow remain dry while playing. They associate these two blonde girls with the two daughters that was killed on the property from Chloe or from Yellow.
Now, mind you, just to I can see what she would have that story. There's stories that are saying that Chloe didn't kill the two girls. One of the girls survived. Two girls survived. No, she killed those children because Fay Fay basically said that the children did die. And they didn't die of tuberculosis. They died of the orile, the juice in the cake itself. So you hear different. I mean, this is Louisiana, so you hear different hearsays concerning. This is one of the more famous stories, one of the most famous folklore. Only because Myrtle Plantation is such a tourist hotspot. So there are going to be tons of stories going on around. But the elder cook in the house, she witnessed everything. And it goes down there. She survived until she was 90, at least like 102. She remembered telling her children the true story because she knew Chloe. She helped raise her. So she saw everything, basically. The children were killed. The wife was killed. And to this day, we don't understand. I think the reason why the husband, Clark, wasn't killed because he was not a person of sweets, or maybe it was a cake he would want. But he didn't end up ingesting the cake at all, and that's the only reason why he did not pass away. Now, there's also, too, to kind of really show, Myrtle Plantation has up to 7, 8, it's up to 10 ghosts that are there that take on corporeal form all the time. 2 of them are what we call the 2 woodcutters. The 2 woodcutters were, of course, they were big brothers. All they did basically just go out. They did other things to work in the field, but they would cut wood there was two brothers basically. They were said to be very, very big black men, and all they did was to basically just cut wood, especially during the wintertime. And as the story goes, both of them had passed away. One had passed away before the other. They passed away quite young. Then there's another rumor saying that they were sold off to another plantation going further down south in Mississippi. But you will see them sometimes, especially when it's cold, or at nighttime. You will hear in the direction where that huge oak wood stump was, where they cut the wood from. You will hear the wood come chopping wood. You will hear it, but there's nothing that's there. I'm taking it, and as a psychic, when I'm taking it as something happened there that was really traumatic, because there used to be a whipping tree that was there. It was cut down in the 1940s because it was interfering with the roof. And it was causing roof damage. That tree had been there for over 120, 130 years. But it was a big, what's that cypress tree? It wasn't a magnolia tree. It was an oak tree that was there. And it was huge. It was a whipping tree. And it still had iron chains embedded in it because the bark had grown over it. The circle, the big, huge iron circlets where they would take rope and tie these people to that tree bare naked and whip them. That was a whipping, but that tree had been cut down a long time ago. Now, that's where, and around about the area where you hear the wood chopping. Also, too, now mind you, the very back of the Myrtle Plantation, it is sitting on it's not sitting on a bayou, but it's sitting some ways from a bayou that's there. The bayou is in the back. What you're going to feel if you walk on some ways. If you walk back there during the wintertime, if you walk back there at nighttime, you are going to feel that presence. They're going to be one of the few ghosts that you're going to feel outright. There's one of the older brother who is said to be the largest brother. He is going to have a hulking presence when you first walk off. He's very, very trepidatious. You're going to feel a really kind of sinister feeling going on, as if you're spiritually inclined, as if you're being attacked. We feel that now. Me and Nana felt. Remember, y'all. We were brought to the Myrtle Plantation, and we really wanted to get all the ghosts off, and they didn't want us to do nothing.
Right, because they make money off that.
Yeah, they didn't want us to do anything. And this was recommended by one of the owners, because the Myrtle Plantation is owned by the Historical Legacy. It's owned by the Historical Legacy Society in that parish. Yeah. And a lot of times they want to cleanse the house and send the spirits free. Some of them want to keep the spirits there. But it's not privately owned. It's owned by the state of Louisiana. It is a heritage foundation. Now, it may have changed hands since 2022, 2023 to being privately owned. I doubt it because the tax is so damn high, and the parish that it's in, that parish is poor as hell. So they probably may not even have the money to pay it. So it's probably just owned by St. Francis. So they probably basically just have. They probably don't even have the money to pay it. The thing about it is, it's probably just owned by Louisiana, by the Historical Society. They had contacted, if not them, somebody contacted Daddy, and we went there. And the lady specifically told us, we just want y'all to get things together, to make things pleasant. And I'm looking at Daddy. Daddy looking at me. We had no idea. We end up just spending a day and a half there, just drinking water and just taking sage, getting paid and just smoking sage everywhere. We were not told to do anything. Mind you, that land is sick as hell. Also, too, if you walk about 50, 25, 35, about 45 yards away from the back, if you walk further enough, you're going to get a vertigo feeling. That is a portal back there. And Daddy was telling them, please close this portal, because this portal is a death portal. People come back here, it's going to make them very sick. Because a lot of people did not know. You went back to the backyard, people would come up sick. They were right back there. Then we went to Myrtle Plantation. We caught a cough. We got sick. We can't get rid of this cold. We can't get rid of the shingles. People would just come down with all kinds of illnesses. This was in the 80s because of that portal back there. The portal is a death portal.
Is it true that, because we're separating the fact from the fiction? Is it true that they put her body back there in the water? Because I never heard that before.
They don't know. Some people say that
Okay.
Clark threw it in the bayou. Some people said Clark burned it. Some people say Clark chopped it in parts. Some people say Clark he buried it on the land. Now, for what I feel, because he was a gentleman and throwing that body in the bayou, you have to understand something. These people tried their very best to save face. Even though what they were doing was absolutely barbaric, they're going to try to do the most to save face. The fact that he was having sex with that black woman, and the fact that he had literally had 2 little girls with her already was bad enough. He's going to try to save face as much as he can. More than likely, he buried her back there.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Because the slaves are going to tell it.
I understand why they play up some of this stuff, but it's just like there's still the Code Noir, you know, which allows a lot of terrible things, but it's like, you know, like you said, they can't just, they did whatever they wanted in a lot of cases, but like you said, they want to save face and they need to do it to make more money. They don't want to, you know. Exactly.
One thing that you didn't want to do when you had that type of money with the murder plantation, Clark was a very wealthy man, came from a very wealthy family. It would be looked down upon to treat your slaves, to treat them as if you had no home training, as if you had no upbringing. There were certain things. He wasn't supposed to be having sex with her. That's a big no. And all these little babes children come out. So people know, but it's a given. Men gonna do what that was. It was really, really frowned upon. But it's something that you cannot stop. But as far as disposing of that body that way, that's just, we're Catholics. That's just not the thing to do. Absolutely not. He would not have done that because people would have looked at him funny. Now, would he have done it out of humanity because of the slaves? Hell no. He would have done it because he would not have wanted to be frowned upon.
Makes more sense, you know, for that specific man. He's not gonna care unless it looks bad on him.
Yeah, because people stop doing business with you. You have to understand something too. Most plantations stopped doing really good business because they treated their slaves with such disregard. That's one of the reasons why plantations in Florida, especially going towards the Everglades, were some of the most poorest plantations. The poorer a plantation is, the worse they treat their slaves. Nobody wants to deal with somebody that is literally, mind you, this is such, I can't even believe I'm saying this, because it's so hypocritical. Slavery is hypocritical. You have people, you own them, which is bullshit. But they have to treat them in a certain way. It was thought to be socially acceptable. You clothed them, you fed them, you did, mind you, we were thought to be children, so you would scold them, and of course you'd beat them as what was appropriate. In certain parishes, you could not beat a slave with a stick that was no thicker than your 2 fingers.
I've heard
so
that
the whole
before,
whipping thing, the whole whipping thing, that was in Atlanta, Georgia, in Tennessee, in Virginia. Whipping was a thing, but also too in evangelical communities, even whipping was outlawed specifically because it was thought to be too cruel. But they're still slaves, though. What the fuck? But anyway, they're still slaves.
Didn't you say before? I think you said this like a few years back. You said that you think that Mississippi was like the worst of all, or have you changed your opinion?
No, Mississippi and Florida. I've never changed my opinion.
Okay.
Mississippi and Florida were the worst, but they were also the poor plantations. Nobody did business with Mississippi. No, now mind you, there were plantations that were very wealthy, but these were gentlemen farmers that were usually transplanted from Louisiana. And they were some of the more, quote unquote, nicer plantations. But the more poor plantations, oh honey, they would go through black folks like toilet tissue. They'd work them to death, especially in Florida concerning sugarcane. They would work them literally to death. And that's why all that white trash, they've been white trash for over 200 to 300 years. They've always been hateful white trash. They were white trash back then and they white trash now. Always. They've always been hateful. Now, this in Louisiana also too, you have to understand. One of the other reasons why slaves were treated a certain way is because of the laissez-faire community, the Creole community. You had people even back then that were black people, multicultural people, this little beige people, that had plenty of money and NOLA. And they were part of Louisiana representatives. They were part of the politics. They would outlaw this. They would go in an uproar because, mind you, the Creoles did not say because of this or that we're not black. No, it was not that way at all. They were part. Now, mind you, this was also part of the what's that word? Of the Reconstruction. During the Reconstruction after the Civil War, more black people held office in Washington than ever before. They were kicked out soon after by the Democrats, but they held office for some time and they changed laws and they made it a little bit easier for us because these were black men that were in office. Now they were not able to stay in office for very long, but while they were there, they did make a few changes, and some of those changes still stuck.
Interesting. I'll have to look into that some more.
Mm-hmm. There you go, honey.
Fever, but Chloe's spirit and the two blonde girls' spirit never seem to interact. Currently, even till this day, there is an area in the dining room where a lot of people trip and fall. And so many people were tripping that the owners, for liability purposes, made sure they keep that area clear because they could not figure out why does everyone trip and fall right here. The floor isn't uneven, the carpet isn't rolling up. What's causing people to trip and fall in this certain spot? Well, we're winding back a little bit. So in 1834, this area was not a dining room, it was actually a game room. And during an intense game, Ruffin's son was shot due to a gambling debt. He tried to crawl and get help, but in that very spot outside what's the dining room now is where he took his last breath. So exactly where his body is where a lot of people trip. So the story goes that many people are tripping over his body, his spirit that's still dormant there. Just how Chloe was thrown into the swamps after her death, her spirit is usually seen around the swamp area. The children were celebrating their birthday. That's why the two blonde girls are.
Now I have an opinion about that because that's very true. This is back in the 1800s. That swamp area has creeped up on the land now. That's probably where he buried her. That was probably dry land back then.
Oh, okay. So you're saying he buried her on dry land and then the water creeped in over.
It creeped in over her grave, definitely. Absolutely.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Down in the rain playing around because when they died it was around their birthday. So usually, and we'll get into this later, when a person dies in a certain room in a certain position, it's told that their spirit will favor that spot because that's where they last had life. So they'll go back to that spot to re-energize themselves. That's why if you have someone who passes away in your home, maybe they passed away in their sleep, usually depending on how close you were to them or just the energy that's present, if you go into that.
The thing that it depends on, she's absolutely right. It absolutely depends on it depends on the circumstances of dying, what happened during that death, and then also to the circumstances of what caused that death, the brutality of it. Now, my grandfather, now y'all know this on Clubhouse, but some of the YouTube people don't know. My grandfather, first and foremost, he's the patriarch of our house. My grandmother, she's a matriarch, and I'm the little baby bee. It's big as I am. I'm bigger than both of them, but they think it's very weird. But I'm their child. But all three of us, we go and we cleanse out houses. That's part of our gig. That's part of how we make our money. We would be doing a lot more of it if we were all in Baton Rouge right now. But we'd be doing a lot more of it if they were younger. Mind you, they've been spiritually cleansing out houses for a very long time, honey, for over 30 to 40 years. Now, a lot of these older places, for instance, what the people are tripping over, that's called residual energy. It's a playback. Now, are they actually tripping over a ghost? Because the ghost is making them trip? Absolutely. But more than likely, they're tripping over what's called a corporeal residual energy. That they inference the corporeal aspect of that person's body. It's still there. It's a playback. It goes about taking on corporeal form because of the intensity of that scene, the trauma of that scene, the anxiety of that scene. So when people walk in, and how residual energy works, residual energy, that playback starts when a person comes into that room, and if they're in that room long enough, they'll feel a chill. And their bioelectricity will actually start that playback. Playbacks don't start until people walk into that room because they need bioelectricity.
Oh snap! So you're saying if the room or the home is completely empty,
They're not going
it's
to pay
not going to
back.
happen because
It's
there's
not.
not people.
It's not going to happen. The only things that
wow.
move around without the interaction of people's by electricity, or the mechanic of the human spirit, or people being in there, fleshing out that experience, and that experience is actual corporeal entities or spirits or phantasms that really are truly there. Now, a lot of times they will take energy from us to take on more of a corporeal form, especially those that know how to take energy. That's the chill that you get, a really intense chill. The air grows electric because they're stealing energy from you. They're taking energy from you in order to get big and strong and then appear in front of you and give you the fright of your life.
That's so interesting. Okay, I've never had it explained that way. It makes perfect sense. And so you're saying that in an empty home, there can only be like an intelligent spirit.
Mm-hmm. Now, like for instance, the many instances where you've had paranormal investigators. When I used to do paranormal investigating across the Deep South, there have been plenty of houses where we all clear out, especially during the day. We'll look up, we'll see windows moving, there have been sometimes where we'll see a phantasm or a spirit take on a corporeal form, like a little girl, a man, or a woman, and be staring right down at us. I'll see them. I'm not the one seeing them. Everyone sees them. Mind you, if that was residual energy, that would not be able to happen because it's not a natural, it's not an energy source. It's too complicated to take energy just from the ozone. It's too much a shade. So if a person's coming in, then that playback starts because it's taking energy from their personal body.
Oh wow!
But
it's like a battery.
Absolutely, but because we become the battery to make it start happening. But for an entity that knows how to, for a real entity that is truly an intranquil spirit that has not crossed over at all, and a lot of times to have that type of strength, it shows that they have not crossed over. Because spirits that have crossed over, they don't have that type of strength. Because half of them is over there. Yeah, half of them is over there, and then half of them is here. They choose not to do that too. They choose not to take on a corporeal essence. Now, those that haven't crossed over, that you're looking up and you see a ghostly person up there, that's what's called a class. That's a class A corporeal entity. That entity is itself a spirit. It doesn't need anybody. It goes around that house with nobody looking at it. It's floating all around, doing the Watusi and the Huckabuck and the Dougie, even when nobody looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, can I ask you another quick question?
Yeah, honey.
Okay, so the picture that the young lady showed in the video, she showed it really briefly, and I have it up on my TV, so she didn't zoom in or nothing. Mm-hmm. Do you think that was really the spirit?
I do, absolutely, because I've seen it over and over again. I've seen that picture is actually hanging in the display in one of the front areas where they show the murder plantation now as a 2000. I think it's a 2020. They display pictures of people people.
That's taken. Right. So and they have the earring case,
Yeah, they have the earring case too. So it's actually up there. That's Chloe. I've taken a long look at it, and I feel that it's Chloe. Y'all, when you're in the murder plantation, you're looking at that picture, you're gonna know it's Chloe because she's gonna creep up right behind you. She does come inside the house. Now, I'm just exaggerating. Has she crept up behind me? Not necessarily, but I have felt her energy.
Would you be able to on the YouTube? Could you go onto Google and pull up a picture so we could see?
Oh, definitely, honey. Because the thing about it is that there are so many pictures of Chloe. Hold on, Chloe Plantation. There are so many pictures of Chloe. Plantation. Honey, there's a black and white plan. I hope that black and white is up there too. Because, yeah, now that's the main one. We see that all the time. That one's, oh, here we go. Now, this is the picture that they have. This one is in the plantation right here. I'm going to pull this one up. And you can clearly see this.
It's black and white. It must be old.
Yeah, no, it's black. Now, this picture was taken in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, hold on. Let me make sure. Oh, there we go, right there. You see it?
Yeah, it looks, you can see the head and the shoulders and the kind of dress and everything. You can see like the form and everything.
It's completely transparent. You can even see the turban that's there too.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh yeah, thank you for saying. Oh my God, that's properly a ghost. Yeah.
Now, the way she looks, she would be no bigger. She'd be a little bit taller than my Nana, a tiny bit taller. So she's a little woman. She was a little woman.
You can really see the turban and the sleeves. She has kind of a blouse on.
Yeah, and you can see the long dress and everything that's there too. So that would definitely be her. Now, when you're standing inside the plantation, because mind you, this along here, this is the front house is on the other side where they have the chairs and everything. This is probably during the wintertime too when it's cold because the chairs are usually out there. They're usually tables and things like that where people can have refreshments and things. It's not that way now, but it used to be. So this is wintertime.
Is there a restaurant there now?
They used to. I don't know if they still have it there.
Okay.
It probably is still there.
Okay, me neither.
It used to be still there. Hopefully they opened it, but I'm not going to it. Hell no. But hold on. There's another one. Now the picture we just saw, that's the picture that's absolutely in the plantation. This one here.
This is so interesting.
Yeah, this one right here this is a cleaner version of it. So you can see. There we go. Excuse me. Wow. They are just so rude. Nobody cares about subscribing to you. Get out of here.
We don't want to pay to get news. That should be illegal.
Absolutely, that should be illegal. Now it's not a great overshot. So it could be.
It's like they crisped it up. You can see the shadows a lot more better in this one. It trips me out. Like you can almost see her hands. You can see the billowing blouse, the billowing skirt. It trips me out that you can see the head wrap. It's a lot of detail in that one.
Absolutely, but compare her to the door. Now that door is about 6'7", about 6'8", 6'9", and so I'm going to be right here. You see the arrow? Right. I'm going to be right here to the door. Look how short she is.
She's really little, actually.
She's very little. She's very little.
She's not standing up fully straight either.
Yeah, she's very little. So I hope he's in hell. Definitely.
I hope they all are.
Girl. Now
wives especially. All of them.
They had another picture up here concerning. I'm just going to type in Ghost of Myrtle Plantation because they had another one up here. Now, here is hopefully Chloe's Slave Ghost of Myrtle Plantation. Okay, now, y'all, if you're interested in how the Myrtle Plantation looks, it's actually quite lovely. It's kept up very well by the Louisiana Historical Society. They're constantly doing this oak tree there. You see how big this oak tree is? That tree was probably there during the time of antebellum. Girl.
That tree's a few hundred years old. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about a 300 or 400 year old tree. Now hold on. Now I want to get to that picture. Now,
I never heard of the brothers before. Thank you for mentioning, because you never really hear about the other ghosts.
And you only hear about Chloe because she's now a tourist attraction. But honey, there are several ghosts on there. There's a ghost when you go further away towards the where it used to be. Here it is right here. This one you really can't see it too much because it's very grainy. But you can make her out a little bit better. But look at that door though. So she's very tiny.
Yeah, she must be. I was gonna say 5 foot. She might even be 4'11", 4'9". She's real little.
She's real little.
Yeah, you can see she's up on the porch, so that's pretty even to where the door is.
Yeah, she's really little, and even to that chair that's there too. Now, because I've seen this picture over and over again. What I'm feeling, she was either killed when she was very, very young, so she could have been killed when she was in her early 20s. So
that's what I think. Yeah, I think she was about 20.
Really young. She was in her 20s. Now hold on, Myrtle Plantation Ghost. Because I'm hoping and praying that they show there's other ghosts too that are there.
Was this the plantation? I thought there was a picture of someone inside the house, like in a window.
It's tons of them.
I might be thinking of the Magnolia, actually.
it's tons of ghosts. Now this right here, it shows a ghost at the Myrtle Plantation. Now this was taken and said to be in the early 90s. Do you think this picture shows a ghost? Now the ghost is right here, sweetie, right here. Now we're gonna see, because people are constantly taking pictures, especially paranormal investigators and just layman folks are taking pictures. And sometimes they take these pictures and then all of a sudden they develop them. Now, hold on just a minute. Get out of here. Anybody interested in subscribing?
Oh, yeah. That one looks like a man.
Now, it looks like a man. It barely looks like a man here. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Right
in
there.
The middle.
In the middle. Now, that's been up since the 1999, 1990, 1998, 1997. Let's go back. Hold on. Close out of that, because there are other better pictures too.
Is the colored photo of that one the real one?
No, hold on. What is this? Incredible listener submitted murder ghost pictures. I think I've seen this one too. I don't think this is a ghost. Oh, here we go. Shout all kinds of really weird people be Myrtle Plantation. It attracts just weird people.
Yeah, well, that looks like just people in a room.
Yeah, pretty much. Now hold on. They said that this was a ghost right here in the mirror. I don't think so.
I don't see anything.
I don't see that. I don't see nothing at all.
No.
That's the sun. That's just the sun. Now, Myrtle Plantation said that this right here, and then if you look in right here, they said that they're losing a nurse ghost that's here. That's a ghost right there. That this is a dark figure that's there.
Huh. That picture looks really old.
Yeah, really, really old. I want to see if you can find one of the. A lot of these are not ghosts, honey. They're absolutely not ghosts. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. Okay, but the famous one, and here come these idiots, ghost adventurers. I just really wish that the earth would open them, swallow them up, all of them. Never mind. Everywhere they go, they literally just cause. They just make it worse. They make it worse. I've heard so many people say that when they come and try to do house cleansings, that things just get worse.
I heard that too, and people are like, it's worse than ever. We're getting abused, like stuff's
really abused. Absolutely, that's because Zach does illicit drugs before he goes in every one.
Does he really?
Yeah, he does cocaine, honey. Absolutely, everybody knows that.
That explains a lot. I thought it was steroids that was making him so crazy, but coke, yeah.
He used to, honey, but from what I've heard, he's started. He does the Hollywood thing now. Now hold on.
That tracks.
Now the whole thing about it is, now that's the Myrtle Plantation. Now I'm looking. I don't see anything about the two brothers that are going on, and at a quick glance, a lot of these pictures. Oh, is this the top of the Myrtle Plantation? Okay, this is lovely. You guys get a view of the Myrtle Plantation and the bio that it's next to as well. Okay, the Myrtle Plantation is right here. Let's take a look at it. Top view. Oh no, we got it log in. We got to log in. Oh, shooty daisies. Hopefully we don't. Okay.
I don't usually see one-story plantation. Well, it is a two-story, but it's not as big as some of the other ones I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Now Myrtle is right here. This is the plantation right here. Now the bayou is going to be over here. Oh no, over here. Bayou's over here, so it's a far walk. It's a little bit of walk. The front of it, though. Now, mind you, this is the highway. This is going to be Black Highway right here, or Highway 401, 410. I think it's 410, 410 right here. Now, the bayou is going to be over here. Now, a lot of now, as you well know, plantations often buried people own land. So a lot of that is going to be over here, this area over here. A lot of that's going to be over here. Yeah, a lot of it's going to be over here. So you think a lot of
the burials underwater then?
Yeah, a lot of it's going to be underwater. But see, we have the highway that's here. But the thing about it is that the bayou is going to be over here, this area over here. And the thing about it is that that water is going to waterlog all of this over here. Now that highway is going to this highway goes straight down. So mind you, there's probably going to be irrigation ditches right here to collect a lot of that rainwater. Because if not, it's probably going to flood all this area over here. This land, to build on it, you have to waterlog it first and foremost. Now, to kind of give an idea that it's so close to water, this was native ground here. So native ground or burial ground concerning this First Nation that was originally here, they always bury their dead near water. Always near water. So you have to really, really be careful with the Myrtle Plantation. There's another view of it too. I love the top views that are here, but you can definitely see them. Now this may be a nice photo right here. I want to see something. Incredible listener. Now let me go and see. Myrtle Ghost Photos. Let's see. KPLE. Child, this is Shirley Louisiana right here. Yeah, I'm gonna just give it another look. We're gonna see something.
Okay, let's get into the pixels.
Now, what is? You can't see nothing.
Looks like a Dr. Seuss neck.
It does, and what the hell are they looking at?
I don't know about that one, but I don't want to interrupt. Whenever you're ready, but I want to ask you about another really famous ghost photo. It was taken in New Orleans in an old funeral home. It's really famous.
Mm-hmm. Now, it was taken at the funeral home itself. Which funeral home? There's so damn many of them.
I know if you search the photo, it'll come up because it's really famous. Because you know the cemetery district in New Orleans, it's like blocks and they're all in one area, right?
It's huge.
And so there's the one funeral home that's like it's only one of them, and it's in that area. And they said something about like, I don't remember the exact number, but they were like thousands and thousands and thousands of bodies came here. And when it was a funeral home back in the day, what do you call it? The funeral director lived there with his family, and they got these photos of a little girl like peeking around a corner. I think it's a real photo, but you know, there's a lot of debate about it. So maybe I could find it.
Now it's the Louisiana funeral home.
New Orleans haunted funeral home photo.
Okay, hold on. My computer's deciding.
It's a little girl.
All right, we're gonna let my computer decide to work what she wants to. Okay, funeral home ghost. All right, computer, do your thing. Okay, New Orleans funeral home ghost. Let me see. Now it's coming up with all kinds of Anne Rice Smiths. Oh,
this looks like this looks like the place because it was an old funeral home, but now they do like a haunted house thing.
Oh.
So that is the one. We might need to specify girl ghost photo.
Okay.
Because this is the place.
Photo. Hold on. Uh-oh. Les Hawk photo, 2007. She was on the stairs?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Real history of the mortuary. Now, this is kind of shaky. He must have been very scared. Oh, now, here's a mortuary right here. Buy tickets now. Y'all, the Creepy and Crowley, y'all see my Mac. It's doing the disc up there.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's pretty big. Now hold on. Buy tickets now. I don't want tickets to your ghost. Y'all creepy as
hell. They have the haunted house down in the basement, which is like the worst place they could put it.
Oh, Zach posts that. Zach he took that photo with his crackhead hands. Oh no, that's it right there.
Oh yeah, there's the photo.
What is that logo right here?
Yeah, see if you can enlarge that one. I wish it wasn't so blurry, but do you see that there? It's like short, real short.
Right here.
Yeah.
Lance Hawks.
I feel like I see hair.
I do too. I need it to be more, for it to be much more defined. That could be a little
Right,
girl, definitely.
yeah, I see the short hair and the face looks kind of funny. Like I feel like sometimes spirits they'll have a skull face, but not
They
all
do.
the time.
They absolutely do. Now, hold on. All right, y'all, New Orleans ghost photo. Since we're doing Myrtle, girl, we done got completely off track, and I love it so very much. Here we go. Now let's try to see if we can find some ghosts. The thing about it is,
Some real ones.
okay, now these track houses, y'all, I want to get one of these. Listen, aren't they gorgeous? They're so pretty.
I love the metal.
I love the wrought iron metal. Mind you, that costs an arm and a leg to keep together. Oh, and then the blacksmith to keep it together. That's a whole craft right there. That is so gorgeous. And you can't take them off either. I don't want them on there. I don't know why you wouldn't want them on there, but because a lot of the homes, these are historical homes, they'll let you own them, but you can't change them.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense though.
You can't change,
especially in the quarter.
You can barely change the internal structure of them. Now I want to find a ghost. Are there any kind of ghost pictures going on? Child, I know this looks all familiar to me. That's now mind you, that's cemetery 220. That's cemetery 21 right there. And that's the
Which
same
one?
21, and that's the same. That's the same cemetery right there. It's the same one. It's the same cemetery that Marie Laveau's in. I think it is.
St. Louis #1.
St. Louis #1, yeah. No, hold on. I don't see no damn ghost.
I don't see any real ghost ones.
I don't see no real ones. I just see creepy people.
Which hotel there do you think is the most haunted? Because I think it might be maybe the Omni Royale, maybe.
The Omni Royale is haunted, but they got a Hilton that they just built around about. It's built, and the way they built it on an old foundation. They cannot keep a maid staff that's there because that place is just haunted. Not only is it haunted, but people keep getting hit. They keep getting sick there too.
Oh, word.
And they're saying that the sewage, that when they built it, the sewage itself wasn't right. They built it. The man may have built it over sewer gas, or maybe they did something wrong because they can't keep staff up in there. The staff keeps getting sick. Oh, hold on, is that a ghost right there? Look at it. Hold up, I want to see something. Is that a ghost? No, that's a fake. That's fake.
Oh, you know what? We should try to find. What's that really old restaurant there that has all the mirrors? Is it Jacques?
I think it is Jacques. I think it is Jacques. Though that could be it.
Because supposedly there's some photos of supposedly it's haunted by a man who was a waiter there, and people see him in the mirror and they see him in his suit and everything.
And yeah, his maitre d' suit. Hold on.
Yes.
New Orleans. Hold on. How would you spell it? Shock. Hold on.
Good question.
Hold on. Ghost photobombs couple selfie.
Yeah, ghost waiter.
Okay, ghost waiter. Y'all. Hold on, let me see. I think that's what they were showing here. Ghostly picture. Let's hear. They were showing this right here. Y'all, I don't want no ghost wait staff. No. Here we go. New Orleans is just creepy as hell.
I agree.
That's why I love living in Baton Rouge. We're so far away from all the mess. We can come in when we want to and leave right when we need to. Dad's like, I wouldn't live here to pay. You paid me. You bet you would. You paid you. No, but Daddy would. He absolutely would not. He says it would just get on his nerves. And I think he's talking about the tourist. Because he's talking about the tourism because he would just curse him out. Stop this ghostly figure leaning over a table in a restaurant. Now this was on Reddit, and I saw this. I saw this a few years ago. This was what on? Yeah, I think this is the one.
Let's see.
Ghost figure leaning over table.
I see something there.
Yeah, that looks like an old 1920s waiter. He's balding up here, though.
Yeah, I was going to say bald head.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I wonder how they know to point the camera.
Well, when I used to do ghost hunting, I would just take a bunch of rapid fire photos, you know, and then I go through them later. And you take a few hundred photos, maybe 200, and then you got to go through them all. And that's why sometimes I wouldn't find that I had a ghost in them until later.
Until
you
much
really
later.
Go through everything.
Yeah, until much later. Mm-hmm. I felt it. Usually, if I felt something, then more than likely I would have the guy take the picture of it. There's usually something there. Usually, your glowing orb or a black. See, those are orbs right there. So this is the same photo, but it's much darker.
Oh, yeah.
It's much darker. Well, that's a YouTube video. It's much darker, but they'll glowing orbs that are there. So the thing about it, though, when you deal with bye. When you deal with spirit, I can get out of here. Y'all have the Louisiana map open because I'm homesick. I want to go home.
You should.
I know, because if I'm not, because then I'm not coming back.
I wouldn't blame you.
I'll be staying at a haunted house to get my toes tickled. I said I'm going to go home and really go home once I get things really settled here, and then I'll go back. Because if I go back now, I'm not coming back.
One of these days, I'm gonna have to send you the picture that I got in Jackson Square. That I am convinced it was Lalaurie in the photo.
Mm-hmm. Now we have New Orleans Ghost. Now, hold on. New Orleans Ghost. Now, mind you, we're going to cover all of Orleans. We're going to see if we can find some creepy crawlies. They understand right there. Oh, nothing. Because they're just in the cemetery. And now they shooting Papagette. But y'all, in New Orleans itself. It is. Oh, Ghost of New Orleans. That's a good movie right there. That's a very good movie.
That looks good.
Which one?
We gotta watch Skeleton Key on here. That ghost movie. I haven't seen that one.
Can we watch Skeleton Key on here? Yeah, yes, we can, because they have it on YouTube. Yes, if they have it on YouTube, then we can damn watch it.
Absolutely. That would be so much fun.
Hold on. Let's find it now. Shit.
Okay, let's find it.
Hold on.
And sometimes they got a bunch of movies like for sale. It's high definition. It's like $2 or $3.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as many people that get on could watch it. That would be really fun, and that way you can start it and stop it so we can talk about some of the things that are going on.
Absolutely. Now mind you, also to everybody, she's absolutely wonderful. And now look, Mama, I know she's going to come soon. You're trying hard to get me fired. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. So honey, I share. Black Witch, Yaya, I love you. I've subscribed. If you come see this video, I think you're amazing. And thank you so much for your love and care. Listen, girl, we're going to go watch the Skeleton Key. Hold on. Skeleton Key. They probably have it on here. I want to see the full damn movie.
I'm sure.
I know they have it.
They got to have it for rent. They have almost everything.
Girl, they have it for rent. Oh, look. Hold on. Look at Black Witch Yaya. Here she go again with the Skeleton Key. That's a pretty gal. She's so pretty.
I agree.
Black Yaya is good.
She's got a lot of videos.
And yes, you do, honey. And hold on. Full movie facts and information. I don't need to know nothing about that. Ooh, hold on. Papa Justified. Can you buy it?
That those records that they show were real,
they're real. They're absolutely real. Absolutely. When she sacrificed, Jago Wright reacts to Andrew Stone's death. And you know what? No disrespect, Jago Wright. I don't need for you. You hush your mouth about Jaguar Wright. You know what? I love Jaguar Wright. I think she's amazing. But she talk out of pocket too much. Let's go by the movie. Come on. I'm going to rent it real quick. High definition. I just want to rent it real quick. Mind you, it's already on here. Girl, we don't get in trouble. Watch this. If we don't get in trouble. It's on the damn YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the YouTube. And it's not the movie ain't monetized. I'm buying the movie. Y'all don't give me too much trouble, please, YouTube. Okay,
can we save it for tomorrow night? Because I gotta get ready to go out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Save it for tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Now, mind you, I done bought the movie. You ready to go now?
Well, I gotta make this cake and then we gotta go out. But okay, hear me out though. If we save it for tomorrow night, we can tell everybody that they gotta be in to watch it tomorrow.
Now, I done bought the movie and I'm about to go. Okay, well, we can do that then.
No. Okay, you'll save it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can save it, definitely.
It doesn't start. It'll save it for 4 weeks. But if you start to play it, it'll expire in like 3 days, I think.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so don't play it yet, okay?
Okay, I done bought the movie, now I can't play it.
No, you gotta wait. We gotta tell people to be in the room tomorrow to watch it. I know a lot of other people want to watch it.
Yeah, they sure do, honey.
I gotta get to baking.
All right, baby.
Thank you so much for your company, Theo.
All right, baby.
If you'll stay on, I'll keep you on the TV while I bake.
Okay, well, here you go, honey. Listen, then I can play the movie then while you bake.
No! I can be in the kitchen, but I'll listen.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
y'all.
You so much, Theo.
You're very welcome, honey. Hey, y'all. Hey, Jay Trent. Hey, Tracy Ann. How y'all doing? Listen, we have the skeleton keep coming. Hey, hello. Hey, Gibson. Listen, I bought the skeleton key. I think we can keep it up for some time. Listen, we've been on here for 1 hour and 46 minutes, and we're just having a good time. Hold on. Now, the thing about the skeleton key, now what we can do is, now this is one of my favorite, I love this movie. Now that I bought it, we can look at it all the time we want to. There are a bunch of free movies out here on YouTube as well. Now, the thing about it is, I had to watch this again because of Gina Rollins passing. She was amazing in the movie. She was. She absolutely was. Now, the one great thing I love about The Skeleton Key is one of the few things. It's one of the few movies done about Louisiana and about Conjure that really, really, really is true. A lot of it makes a lot of sense. And a lot of it is true. The Conjure records. The spreading of salt, the salt circle in the attic. Mind you, we have cards, of course, with that little baby. One of the little conjure cards with that little child. She has a conjure circle in the attic too, of course, with the candles and everything. And mind you, conjuring in the attic out of the way of church folks. That was a thing to do in order to really keep conjure out of prying eyes, especially the Holy Romans, who basically tell all your business and ostracize you out of church. Absolutely. No, but that's definitely a thing. But hold on. Hey, Maddie. What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Now, the thing is, hold on. What we think we can do, now what I'm going to do is put this aside and let's look at some of the tidbits of Skeleton Key. Now, I want the Witch Doctor Spellbook Bond and Revenge. Now, the tale of Mama Seeley and Papa Justify. Let's find out. Are you off tomorrow? Good, honey. Then that'll be good. Now, hold on. Inside the Skeleton Key house is known as Felicity. Y'all, this was a real plantation. Let's look inside the Skeleton Key house known as Felicity Plantation, which is also very haunted.
Hey guys, so right now I am 45 minutes away from New Orleans, and I just arrived at St. Joseph and Felicity Plantation. I came here about, it was like 4 years ago. It was March of 2018.
Okay.
I came because of the movie Skeleton Key. I'm a huge fan of Kate Hudson, and so I wanted to see the house. And back then, the house was not open for tours. But after I toured St. Joseph, the lady's husband drove me over to to Felicity and showed me the front of it and the backyard. So if you guys go back to that video.
I'm not going back to the video.
All right, so here we are.
I'm subscribed to her. She's a sweet
So like
lady.
I said, there is 2 different plantations on property.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can see
Yeah, I know
this
that.
is tickets required
Okay.
to tour house grounds.
Now, we've been to Phyllis Plantation. The plantation about 1.5 miles away from it, that's called Nerman's. Nerman's Plantation, but that's now been changed over to it's a Big Island, Big Fire, Big Island, or, oh, shoot, I forget the name of it. But they've now made it into a bed and breakfast or something like that. Now, these over here, the plantation big house over here, this is going to be what's called a cottage house. Hopefully she shows it. Okay. This is a cottage house over here.
Open, which is so awesome. They have filmed a ton of stuff here,
Those
by
are
the way.
slave
Not
houses
just
right
Skeleton
there.
Key. There's
Turn
filming.
back around. Oh,
all right, so
sorry.
here we are.
Sorry.
So like I said, there is
No, we didn't get to go back here.
plantations on property.
Now, mind you,
So
this is the front area that's here.
Tickets
We must have passed through the back area
house
that's back
grounds.
there.
And see, Felicity now open, which is so awesome. They have filmed a ton of stuff here, by the way.
Those
not
are slave
just
shacks over there. Now,
Key.
much more slave
There's
shacks are over there in the
other
back.
filming locations. I'll try to name them all once I finish touring. Or hopefully they'll bring it up during the tour. That would be great. But I'm going to go ahead and buy my ticket. I believe you buy it right here.
Okay.
I do remember this very well. But this one right here is St. Joseph.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to drive a little bit over.
Okay, thank you.
I forget which side is
Thank you.
Felicity,
Now,
but you do kind of have to.
There were older
It's
plantation
a little
houses
bit of a
that
trek,
were torn
not too
down.
much, but last
That's
time
a
you drove
recent
me
one.
there. But yeah, I'm so excited.
A lot of them, the bigger ones, are still there.
This is the same room that I started my tour in before. And this is the other stuff that's been filmed here.
Queen Sugar was filmed there.
Mudbound.
Mudbound too.
Yes, that's the
Oh,
Here's two.
that handsome brother.
So it's an Oprah show on the OWN network.
Oh, how lovely.
I don't have all.
And that's probably why they opened it up, to make extra revenue.
So, shot
Y'all,
scenes
I'm
here
enjoying
from
Queen Sugar. I really do love it. I really enjoy Queen Sugar. I've never seen
12 Years
Underground.
a
I don't want to watch
Slave.
it. I really don't want to watch Underground.
Oh, look, right here you can see some shots. So cool. And then I don't know if this is another one too. Filthy Rich. I'll ask them about that. And then Skeleton Key. This is a t-shirt from, I think from when they were filming. So I think it's a cruise shirt right here.
Mm-hmm.
Look, they're selling, I don't think this was here before, but they're selling Voodoo brick dust. It's so funny. They use this a lot in the movie. That sign was here when I was here. And here's the movie poster. I love this movie so much. I've never seen Skeleton Key.
The one thing I've always had a really weird feeling about.
Yes.
Oh, y'all, listen. Are y'all on YouTube? You on YouTube?
So cool.
Y'all, can y'all see me on there?
Here we go. So here is St. Joseph's
Maybe kind of odd if you just hear me
plantation.
talking in the back of your
She
head.
was telling me they added this for 12 Years a Slave. There it is in the movie. Oh, Ghost Hunters.
Zach posing that whole thing.
And here's some stuff here. Here we go. 12 Years a Slave. Skeleton Key.
Oh, so it shows all the movies and the productions over there. Oh, Mudbound, Queen Sugar,
Queen Sugar.
and Underground.
Underground. It's another film. That is so neat. So glad to be back here.
It probably explains why they opened it up to the
So
public.
we are. So that's the lady that's going to give me the tour, and there's the house over there.
No, that's the plan. That's called the
Just
big
drove
house,
over
y'all. The
here.
plantation
I was just
house.
following the tour guide right behind her, but there's the house. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I am the only one who's going to be doing this tour right now, which is so cool. But yeah, that. Gosh. That is so cool. Of course, things look different. You know, they don't have the gates that they had when they filmed. Like, there was like a gate. I don't know where that gate was, but that gate that was used for filming obviously was probably just put there by the crew. But here we go. So exciting.
Oh, she has a little V-bug. That is so cute. Oh, no, that's Kate Hudson. Her little V-bug.
So this right here, this part right here, this was shot in a different plantation, which I have no idea where.
That would have been Timpson Plantation, honey. Because that rolling hills, they have a quarter of a mile of just oak trees, of just lined with oak trees and Spanish moss. That's Timpson's Plantation. That's there. That's going to be in Thibodeau Plantation. Has the longest way to come into the plantations, the longest driveway. No, this
So, I don't know if it was like here, but I feel like they came in from the middle here, and she parked her car like right there, I think it was. And of course, this wasn't here. This little planters right there, that wasn't there during filming. The fact that I'm actually going to get to go inside because they did film inside, even though they built the attic and a studio, and then I think they also built a facade of the house eventually. They did, even though they did that, they still filmed inside of this house. She was telling me that they did. And she said something just finished filming and they left something in the backyard. And she said that happens a lot, that after filming they leave things like inside of the house. There's like chandeliers or something from the film. But oh my god, this is so awesome. I didn't get to see it up this close before. Yeah.
It's an old home.
So
very old.
Yeah, her car, I feel like it was like right here, I think. And then you get this shot of the house from the window upstairs. I feel like it's the angle that you get at some point. There it is. Oh, let's go.
Okay, she takes it.
I feel like I'm over here and there's a rocking chair. I think if I'm wow, look at that. Wow. I will tell you, okay, so I was just asking her because I feel like in Skeleton Key, when they first walk in, there was a set of stairs to the left. And as you can see, there's no stairs on this side, but there is on this side here.
Y'all, this is so boring. Oh my god. Oh, Lord Jesus. Skeleton Key full movie facts and information. Did y'all like that? I want to know about Papa Justify, Mama Cecile and Papa Justify. I want to know about them. What does people say?
Just don't go in and throw things out of a room like that. You leave them just where you found them. The house is theirs just as much as ours.
The house is whose?
I just noticed something.
Are in that.
Okay, I just noticed something. Y'all see how the bayou is so close to the backyard? That's how our bayou is, except we don't have the big old boat shed like they got. That's nice. And that's a nice boat rig right there. That's for the bigger boats. We have a wrought iron gate that's over here. But that bayou comes right up to the backyard. That's how ours is. I just noticed that.
All right. About 90 years ago, there was a banker here. His name was Thorpe. He made his fortune cheating the poor. He was a mean man. He was a cruel man. It was him, his family, and a couple of servants, named Mama Cecile and Papa Justify. Now, the way I heard it, old man Thorpe, he didn't know that Papa Justify was a two-headed doctor. He was a conjure man. And so was Cecile. They believed in Hoodoo.
Don't just say it like that. Just don't respect it all.
That was their room.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, they were famous all through the bayous. They healed the sick and they hurt the mean. Hit a straight lick with a crooked stick, as the colored say. But old Thorpe, he just saw him as help, and he worked him to the bone. He abused him. One night, as the story goes, there was a party. It was the bank's anniversary. All the big muckety mucks were here. Politicians, sugar barons, riverboat tycoons. There was a lot of drinking and dancing. And a couple of trysts, I'm sure. And then finally, when it was time to say farewell, some of the guests wanted to wish goodbye to the children. But nobody could find them. They hadn't seen them in hours. So being all full of brandy, they made it a game. Let's find the children, find the children. Room after room after room. Finally, someone heard the music. And voices. And shout. Up in the attic. Their servants were up there with the children. They were trying to teach them how to conjure Hoodoo. Thought went about insane, and so did the rest of the guests. I mean, how long had this blasphemy been going on? The children said it was their fault, that they had wanted to learn.
Yeah, I saw that
But they weren't having any of that. Rage, insanity.
Look at the demons. Look at the demons.
The party was over.
And the babies watched. Look at it. There it is. Woo. Now, the reason why I do, now mind you, was a real Mama Cecile and Papa Justified. There were actually 2 or 3 Papa Justifieds that have existed in Louisiana Conjure history. And there were at least two Mama Ceciles. There was Castle Star Cecile or Cecile. And then there was Mama Doc Cecile that existed. Cecile had lived around the 1812s going to 1840s and 1850s. So again, whoever did the research on this movie, they did a beautiful, beautiful job. Now, I want to see what the Witch Doctor Spellbinding Revenge. I want to see what this child has to say about it. Okay. We're gonna see what will.
Hey y'all, I'm Black Witch Yaya. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today we have another movie review and breakdown, but today we are going to talk about the movie The Skeleton's Key. But before we get into what happened in The Skeleton's Key, I am going to be making my crystal dry rub, which is an all-in-one crystal cleanser for all of your crystals to keep them cleansed and charged, whether you want to set them out in the moon, underneath the sun, put them in your jewelry box where you keep all of your crystals at so they can stay nice and cleansed. This is just what I'm concocting right now, and you can purchase it from blackwitchyaya.com. Also, my lovely t-shirt here, True Spook TV, is the second channel for the Baron. You guys know I rep the Baron. That's my man. He does his tarot card readings, but he tells his true encounters with spiritualities type stuff, ghosts, experiences, curses that he's seen right in his own neighborhood. He tells those stories over on True Spook TV. So if you want like realistic one-on-one, this is what happened to me and my auntie type stories, make sure you subscribe to True Spook TV, and I'll have that link down below as well. Let's get right into the breakdown of The Skeleton's Key. For these reviews, I do like to go over the overall movie as well. So if you have not seen the movie, there will be, this video is nothing but spoilers. So make sure you go check it out if you don't want to spoil it. But if you already seen it, let's start out with the opening scene and the main character, whose name happens to be Caroline. So Caroline is a caretaker, and she is currently reading to one of her patients in a nursing home. And while she's reading to him, he's going to the light. He passes away in that moment. So she gathers up all his items and she wants to leave it at the front desk so the family of the patient could come pick it up. But one of the other head nurses is like, you might as well throw that away. Ain't nobody gonna come for that. No one wants to deal with him, right? So she's like, okay. So she goes to the dumpster to throw away the belongings, but she notices a whole bunch of other boxes of different patients' items that just been thrown away because the family never came to pick it up, or they know the family just doesn't want to deal with that patient anymore. And they told her in a way of like, all right, hurry up and get his stuff out of here because we need to put somebody else in this room. As if they were just so in a hurry just to get ready for another check. Caroline did not like that. She ended up taking the belongings herself and just going through it and reminiscing on him being her patient. And she starts to look for another job. And she sees an ad in the newspaper that says hospice caretaker, $1,000 a week. And of course, like I just said, CNAs and HHAs don't get paid enough, so $1,000 a week sounds quite wonderful, and it's for a private patient. And this is going to be in Terrebonne Parish, if I'm pronouncing that right. Terrebonne Parish. And like many of my stories, this takes place in New Orleans. So Caroline is excited. She's like, wow, I just quit. Then next thing you know, I see this ad. It's perfect. It's going to be a Terrebonne Parish. So her friend Joy is like, you know that's in the swamps, right, girl? Ain't nothing down there but creepy things and haunted houses and all that stuff. So her friend is telling her, like, that's a dangerous area. It's so far away. Are you sure you want to do that? And her friend's kind of like, girl, did you hear me? It's $1,000 a week. Of course I am. And she's kind of tired of being in nursing homes where they don't really care for the patient. So she feels that working for an actual family may be a more hands-on feel. It'll be a live-in hospice caretaker. So she feels like it'll be more personable. And she really wants that thrill and the feeling of taking care of someone because she felt like she waited too late to take care of her father. So she almost wants to pay back that energy through other elderly people. So now it's interview day, and Caroline notices when she pulls up, her friend Joy was kind of right. It is in like a weird area. She gets an eerie feeling when she pulls up, but at the end of the day, she's like, this is $1,000 a week. I'm about to go get this money. So she knocks on the door. No one's answered, so she just walks in saying, hello, hello. You know how that goes. And so she sees the wife and the husband who's in a wheelchair out in the garden, and she meets Luke the lawyer. I want to refer to him as Luke the lawyer to make it easy to remember him because he kind of goes in and out the story, but he plays a major role in the end. So she meets them, and the wife, Violet, she's kind of like,
Girl, she gets a whole rundown of the movie. I want to see what she thought of it. That's spoilers, honey. I want to know what she thought of it. Now, one thing I do know. Hold on, skeleton key. Hold on. Finds her new body, the final scene. I can't even do that. Ooh. Hold on, what does that say? Oh, they have the truth behind the movie. No, we're not gonna go there. That was not a real Pop Justify. He was the Walt Disney man. Yeah. Hold on.
Maybe I'm not engaged. Okay, I'm sorry, what?
Uh-oh. Wait, hold on.
Maybe I'm not engaged. Okay, I'm sorry, what?
Uh-oh. No, you know what? Let's go back. Let's go back to this young lady so we got y'all witch. And so she can continue to tell us story, y'all. Because ain't nothing else hitting on nothing. And it's getting late.
hey y'all, I'm Black Witch Yaya.
There we go.
Window is open and it's a storm, so all the rain is coming in. So she's looking for Ben to see where he is, and he falls off the bed. And then she looks through the window to find Ben on top of the roof trying to escape. So he's right on the edge. He falls off. Caroline runs downstairs to try to save him, and then Violet comes and she's like, oh my gosh, Ben, what did they make you do? So immediately we're like, who is they? Why would they make him do something? So Violet tells Caroline to go get the wheelchair. And so when she goes back up to Ben's room, she sees that a whole lot of stuff is knocked over. It's a whole lot of commotion for someone who was supposedly bedridden. Like, if you bedridden, how did you move all this stuff around? And so then she sees a sheet laying on the floor. And when she holds up the white sheet, it says, "Help me." So she gets that sheet for herself. She grabs the wheelchair and she goes down to get Ben back in the bed. So the next day, Luke the lawyer comes, and so he's just kind of checking in. He's there to update the will because they're, like I told you guys before, it was a hospice situation, so they're expecting him to pass away eventually. And so he's coming there to go over the estate section in the will. So Caroline's like, "Hey, can I show you something?" So she gets the sheet that she hidden out of her closet to show him, like, "Listen, I don't know what's going on. He was on top of the roof last night. They say he's bedridden, but how can a bedridden person start crawling on the roof? And look at the sheet. It says, 'Help me.'" But when she opens up the sheet, it says the plain white sheet. The wording is gone. So, of course, Luke the lawyer does not believe her, so she continues on with her own investigation. She makes her way back up to the attic, and this time she has a bobby pin, it looks like, with her, so she could be able to pick the lock to that secret door. So she was able to get in, and as soon as she opened the little door, a big gust of dust blew out, but she still was able to make her way in. So she starts snooping around, and what it looks like is a little root work type of shop, similar to the movie Spell. It looked exactly like that. So she sees jars of different artifacts. She sees skulls heads, snake heads. She sees a whole lot of stuff going on. And so then she runs across this photo that has Martin and Grace along with other people, but Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia is located in that photo as well. And then she runs across a book, and the book is titled Receipt Book of Papa Justify and Blessed Teaching. So basically, whoever this Papa Justify guy is, she found his spell book. So the first page she turns to says chalk, sulfur, blood, hair, conjuration of supreme protection. Remember that for later in this video. So as she continues to snoop, she notices a ring that has 3 snakes on it. And she runs across an album that's titled Papa Justify, Conjure of Sacrifice, August 24th, 1920. So while Caroline is up there in the attic being nosy, Violet is downstairs doing her own investigation to see where Caroline is. So she gets a feeling that she may be in the attic. So she starts making her way to the attic while Caroline continues to look throughout the attic. And like I said before, there's some jars in there with different things going on. So she finds this one big jar that's drenched in fluid and has a cow tongue in it that's tied up. The reason she was able to recognize it was a cow tongue because she got scared by noise of Violet coming up. She dropped it, and you can see a big old cow tongue that is tied up. Nasty. I'll pause right here just to give you guys a little insider. The cow tongue is basically a spell that is used by a lot of people for people just to shut up. It's usually used against people who are speaking against them, that's stopping their prosperity, that's stopping their peace. So they'll do up a spell for that person using a cow tongue, signifying for their tongue to get tied anytime they try to speak against the individual. And this is where the audience can probably put 2 and 2 together that cow tongue was for Ben, hence why he is mute. So immediately you start wondering, so why did they put a spell on Ben? What's up with Ben? Is he an enemy? Like, what's going on? Let's continue. Caroline is almost busted by Violet, so she was able to escape and hide and all that good stuff, but she kept the album with her. So when she made her way back to her side of town, she started to play the album to see what it says, and it seemed like some type of spell ritual was going on, and we just hear Papa Justify's voice. So she's back on her side of town, so her friend Joy walks in like, "What are you doing?" And so Caroline kind of tells her, like, gives her the whole rundown. And Joy is like, "Listen, I don't know nothing about that, but I could take you to a shop where my aunt used to go. She's kind of into this type of stuff." So she takes her to what looks like a wash house, like a washer, what do you call it? A laundromat. And so, of course, they didn't go in just yet, but she's like, "That's where my aunt used to go." But Caroline will make her way back there a little later. Caroline is now back to work. So she's tucking Ben in, and she's looking through his room, and she sees a spot on the wall where a mirror used to be. So Caroline, being the
what I tell you about mirrors,
she took it upon herself to put the mirror back on the wall. And when Violet sees the mirror, she immediately freaks out. I had me a good old amethyst buried underneath there. So Violet storms in Caroline's room. She's like, I told you absolutely no mirrors. Violet takes the mirror. She put it back in the attic where all the other mirrors were. That's where Caroline originally found the mirror. All the mirrors that were once in the house are just stored up in the attic, covered with blankets. Caroline storms up behind her. She is like, you said you didn't have a key to go in that room, but yet all the mirrors in the house are up there and you took the mirrors down. So what's going on? And Violet's like, look, you're not from the South. You wouldn't understand this. Just don't go up there and start touching stuff. This house is theirs as much as mine. And so Caroline's like, this house is as much as whose as yours. So Violet begins to tell her this story. This house belonged to a banker named Thor. Him, his wife, his children, and they had 2 servants, Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia. But Thor was a cruel man. He stole from the poor just so he could continue to get rich. And he had good servants that he really liked, Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia. But Thor didn't know that Papa Justify was a 2-headed doctor, which basically means he healed in a physical and spiritual sense, and he knew how to conjure up stuff. And so did Mama Cecilia. So one night they were having a party, and once the party was over, everyone wanted to go say goodbye to the 2 children, and we could see that the 2 children are Martin and Grace. And so they go around the house looking for them. They're drunk and turned up, so they try to turn it into a game. Who could find the children? And then one of the party goers hears music coming upstairs from the attic. They go up to the attic and they see that Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia are standing over the 2 children as they're standing in a circle with different vase and symbols, teaching them how to conjure up hoodoo. So immediately the father was pissed and everyone decided to have an after party, which included the hanging of Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia. The children tried to explain to their parents, no, this is our fault. We wanted to learn from them. They know how to do magic and stuff. We wanted to learn how to do it. It's our fault. It's our fault. But no one was listening to them. They started celebrating as they seen the light disappear from Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia as they hung from the tree, which happens to be the center point of the garden that they like to be in. So what happened to the family, Caroline asked. Well, after they hung them, their business went under. They had to sell the house. And one day, the father got so mad that he was now poor that he shot his wife and turned around and shot himself. That's why I don't keep mirrors in the house, because it seems that sometimes you can see them in the mirrors. You can see the spirits. Or at least that's what I read in the Hoodoo books. Also in the Hoodoo books I read that if you use brick dust, you can like protect yourself from evil energies. So I made me a whole bunch of brick dust that I keep, and I just made one big circle around the house to try to keep the spirits out. Caroline listened to the story, but for some reason she just did not believe that the mirrors were the cause of the problem. Like, are you sure you can see these spirits of the people who once lived here and was hanged here? You can see them in the mirror. Like, are you sure? So remember earlier, Violet told Caroline that she can have a personal mirror for her own use. So Caroline wanted to test the system. While giving Ben a bath one day, she takes her personalized makeup mirror and she holds it in front of Ben's face, and he immediately begins to freak out. He screams, like he's trying to scream at least, and he's moving, he's splashing water like he just did not like what he's seen in the mirror. So that's when Caroline knew, like, oh shoot, this man legit can see stuff in the mirror, because he wasn't there to hear the story, so there's no way he's faking about it. So I guess on her break, she makes her way back to her side of town, and she talks to Joy again, and she goes to the shop that Joy told her that her aunt goes to. It looks like a wash house, but once you go upstairs, it's like this botanica that's in there, and she talks to the owner, lets the owner know what's going on, that the man is mute, she's in the cow tongue, there's no mirrors in the house, all this stuff. So the owner's like, it sounds like someone got him bound up. And so Caroline's like, yeah, but are you sure this is true? Like, are you sure that the family just doesn't believe it so much to the point where they feel like it's true? Like something like psychosomatic, like they just truly believe it so much they operate in that fear. The same thing that Marcus said in the movie Spill. Like, are you sure it's psychosomatic? Are you sure it's real? Are you sure they're just not being delusional? And so I guess the owner's kind of like, okay, this girl don't know no better. But she gives her all these supplies to untie Ben so she could really find out what's going on. So she goes to Ben's room one night. She gets to work. She takes the cross candle. She lights it up. She pours oils on it. It's sitting in a glass bowl of water. She puts all the herbs in it, basically doing a reversal spell for Ben. She takes it as the candle's burning and she has the cross in there. She's taking the water and she's throwing it on Ben. So as she's splashing the water on him, she continues to say the following spell. Cleanse this man, cleanse this room, cleanse this house. His words has gotten lost. lost and wondering in his mind. Let the water run down and let this water wash away. This condition in his tongue has gotten tied and tangled in his throat. Let the water run down and wash away this affliction. Send his voice to go free. Let the water run down and wash away. And as she sang this spell, you can see tears coming down Ben's face. So that's when she knows that it's working. So as she continues to do the spell, Ben begins to whisper, no, no, no. So before he wasn't talking, so she knows the spell worked. And then Caroline asks, well, what are you afraid of? What's going on? And he points at the door, and then Violet begins to try to come in the door, like, what are you doing? What's going on in there? What's all that commotion? Let me in, Caroline, let me in. So Caroline continues to do the spell to make sure everything is done. And so Violet pulls out her key to go into the room. And so Violet storms in. Caroline was able to cover up everything. And then Violet's like, well, that's it. You don't need to do anything else for tonight. Then Caroline's like, are you sure I can continue to tuck him in? And Violet's like, no, you're done. Like, just go. Because I guess she wanted to tie him back up and have that privacy so she could redo her spell. So now Caroline knows something is for sure going on. So the next day, Luke the lawyer comes. So she's again trying to explain to Luke the lawyer, like, listen, there's something odd going on. I knew from the moment that I got here, something is off. So she goes back to the gas station with Luke the lawyer to talk to the old white lady that she saw before. And basically from this conversation, she knows that the old white lady knows about Papa Justified and knows about his power and all that good stuff. And the spell that she turned to before, the Supreme Conjurer, is basically a spell where you take someone's years from their life and add it to yours. And so from there, Luke the lawyer is like, okay, listen, Caroline, you just try to get as much proof as you can. I can get a restraining order. If Violet is putting Ben in danger, just go get me the proof. And Caroline's like, okay, but in actuality, she's like, listen, that sounds cute, but I gotta get to work myself. So when she gets back to work at the home, she notices that Violet's in the kitchen cooking, acting like nothing ever happened. We see Violet cutting up some chicken feet and putting it in some type of soup. So already we know that something is off. Caroline knows that something is off in general because all of this stuff that's going on. So she goes to the shed area and she finds where Violet was keeping the brick dust, and she takes a bunch of it. So she lines her room door with the brick dust and covers it over a rug. And so she calls Violet in the room saying, hey, Violet, there's this leak up here that I hear. Come look at it. And Violet's standing at the door like, oh, well, I'm cooking right now. I can come look at it later. And then Caroline looks at Violet at the door and notices that she's not walking in. She's like, no, just look at the leak really quick. I feel like it's really bad. Mind you, this entire time, Violet has not crossed the entryway. And she's just like, oh, well, I'll look at it later. I'm sure it's fine. And then Caroline's like, no, I really want you to look at it. It looks like a bad leak. And then Violet's like, I have to continue cooking now. She never entered the room door. So that's when Caroline knew, like, oh shoot, this brick dust really worked, because Violet didn't know that she put brick dust there. So that's when she knew, like, okay, for sure, this brick dust keeps out evil energy. Why is it keeping out Violet if she's not really evil? So now she's discovering that all this stuff really works, and she truly believes in it. So during this time as well, Caroline realized that the album that she took and the spell book that she took from the attic is no longer in her possession. So Violet tells Caroline, oh, come have dinner with me, come have dinner with me. And so Caroline is already suspect of what's going on. So Caroline took some type of substance and put it in some sugar cubes that Violet usually uses for her tea. But that night she decided not to put any sugar in her tea. And Caroline decided that she's not eating any of the food. But when Violet had to step away, whatever substance, the knock-down oil, I'll call it, that she put in the sugar cubes, when Violet walked away, she poured it into her tea. So as they're continuing the conversation, like, Violet is beginning to knock out and she falls on the floor and she's like passed out, knocked out at the moment. Violet sees that she has some type of paper in her hand, and it ended up being a page torn out of the spell book. So while Violet is knocked out, Caroline uses this as her opportunity to go storming through the room to see what's going on. So as she's moving stuff around, going through her belongings, she sees that Violet has a line of brick dust almost everywhere. At the door, underneath her bed, all of that stuff. She notices the spell book that Violet took from Caroline, and she also notices that Violet had a lock of Caroline's hair. And you know that sheet from earlier that somehow disappeared that said, "Help me"? Violet was the one that went and switched out the sheets in her room. So when she tried to tell Luke the lawyer that something was going on, she would just be showing a blank sheet. So now that Caroline knows Violet is officially up, it's time for them to escape. So Caroline grabs Ben, wheels him down, puts him in the car. They try to go somewhere, but they ended up seeing that Violet locked the front entrance gate from the outside. So she tried to drive through. Car was all busted up. They couldn't drive through, so she took Ben. She hid him in the shed. Meanwhile, the whole time, Violet got her evil behind back up, but she got a rifle and she hunting down Caroline. Caroline is running. She ends up hopping in the boat and going through the swamp, going to Luke's house, Luke the lawyer's house. And so she's telling Luke all of what's going on. Violet ends up calling Luke. So Luke is acting like, okay, let me take this call. I'm going to talk to her. So Caroline, like I told you before, is very nosy. So she goes through snooping through Luke's house and she opens the drawer, finds pictures of her, and she sees all of the evidence that she's been giving Luke to prove her case just stored there, the rings and everything. And so Luke sees her looking. He goes behind Caroline, chokes her out, and brings her right back to the house, but that doesn't stop the battle. Caroline continues to run and hide. She ends up using the brick dust all around her, so they're trying to chase after her, but they can't get to her because she's using the brick dust in every area. So now we know Violet and Luke are in it all along. Caroline makes her way to the attic and she remembers the circle that Violet told her about in the story with Papa Justify, Mama Cecilia, and the two kids, how they were sitting in this type of circle with candles all around them and they were conjuring up Hoodoo. So Caroline immediately believes, oh my gosh, if I make this circle, it'll protect me from whatever they're about to do. She draws a sigil from that paper and the spell that she took from Violet. So she thinks she just did something. So when when Violet and Luke, the lawyer, walks in, they see her standing in a circle and they're thinking, oh, perfect. While Caroline up there thinking that, oh, I made a sign of protection. You guys can't get me. And then Violet's like, yeah, it protects you from leaving the circle, not from us going in. And so Caroline is like, oh my gosh, what did I just do? She realized she must have misunderstood the spell or did the spell wrong. So Violet's basically telling her like, yeah, you can't leave that circle, so now you just got to stay there.
So part of this interruption, guys, I just wanted to add in this quick tidbit to make this part of the movie a little bit clearer. So while Luke the lawyer and Violet are chasing Caroline around the house, Caroline makes her way to the attic where a big circle of lit white candles are already in place. So Caroline thought that that would be the perfect opportunity to draw the sigil that she's seen in Papa Justify's spell book in order to protect her. So basically she thought it was the brick dust times 10,000, like, oh yeah, they wouldn't be able to get in this circle. But once she draws the sigil and everything, when Violet and Luke the lawyer comes in, they're thinking, oh, perfect, because that's what they wanted all along. So Violet explains to her, oh, that's not a protection for us not to enter the circle. That's for you not to leave the circle. So Caroline is immediately confused because she thought that was a form of protection, but it's to protect her from leaving the circle so they can do a spell on her. So Violet's explaining to her, like, I made you a believer. You believe in all this stuff now, so it's easy to do this spell on you. So immediately Caroline begins to try to convince herself that she doesn't believe. So she's saying, I don't believe in this, and this isn't real. And Violet is basically like, it's too late, you do believe. So basically the ceremony they're trying to perform is to switch bodies with her. And this is the exact same thing that happened earlier in this video where I told you guys where Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia had the two children sitting in the circle. They ended up switching bodies with the two children. So when they hung Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia, they were actually hanging the souls of Martin and Grace, their children. So Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia are still living because they continue to switch bodies with other people that they bring into the home. But you will see that play out towards the end. So Violet gets this full body mirror and she pushes it towards Caroline. It pushes her and she sees flashes of Papa Justify, Mama Cecilia popping up. The mirror ends up knocking her out. Violet passes out as well. And then Caroline wakes up. She goes over to Violet, who is knocked out, and she grabs a cigarette from her and a lighter and she smokes it. But we remember that Caroline doesn't smoke. Violet does.
So Caroline basically put the spell on herself. When she made that circle, they transferred energies. So now Violet is now in Caroline's body. But it's not even Violet. It's Mama Cecilia. And Papa Justify is in Luke's Dolores' body. So now we see what we think Caroline and Luke the lawyer staring in the mirror, but now it's Violet's body, who we thought was Violet, but was Mama Cecilia the whole time, and Luke the lawyer was Papa Justify the whole time. And they're looking in the mirror, and who we see is Caroline, but is really Mama Cecilia. She says, I told you I wanted a black person this time. And then Papa Justify, who's in the body of Luke the lawyer, says, well, beggars can't be choosers, baby. So they're happy with their work. Ben is on a stretcher. Violet is now on a stretcher, which Violet is now Caroline in Caroline's body, but they both can't speak. And so then, before when all of this was going on, a little rewind, Caroline called her friend Joy while the showdown was going on, telling her, like, listen, you need to come get me. You were right about this house. It's crazy. So when they're both on the stretcher, Joy shows up and she's speaking to who she thinks is Caroline, but it's really Mama Justify. And she's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? You called me? So, of course, she's like, what? I called you? Oh, yes, I remember. I called you. Yes, everything is fine now. And so, of course, Mama Justify just said that, not Mama Justify, Mama Cecilia just said, oh, I told you I wanted a black person. So she sees Joy, who is Caroline's black friend. So now she's like, oh, yes, we'll be okay here. Everything's all right. Basically trying to make her feel comfortable being there. She even asked Joy to go to the hospital with Ben and Violet, who is, again, now Caroline is in Violet's body. So they go to the hospital, and basically the story continues. Whoever's going to be the next hospice care person, which it seems like it may be Joy, so now they're going to take over Joy's body. So Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia can continue to have access and live in the house, hence the name of the movie, The Skeleton's Key, which opens every room of the house, symbolizing that Papa Justify and Mama Cecilia will always have access to the house. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was The Skeleton's Key. So I kind of already did a breakdown of what happened in this movie with the different elements and spells. The tongue-tie spell, again, is used for people who are speaking against you. The brick dust is serious. The brick dust does work. It is a form of protection against evil people and evil energy. Like I said, it's just very, very strong, and sometimes you will be surprised who will not cross that line. So if you're not ready to lose friends or realize who family members are, don't get it. Trust me. Transferring of energy spells, my magic don't go that deep, so I have not ever heard of someone switching someone's body, but I have heard a story of older people utilizing young people's energy to keep them living. That's actually a story that's featured on True Spook TV, told by the Baron about when he was a kid. There was an older man who had his lawnmower, and as long as the kids continuously used the lawnmower, it kept him alive. So you could go over there and listen to that story. I'll link that down below, because to me that's more of a realistic version of the transferring of spells that took place in this movie and in the movie Spell as well. You got to be careful who you let kids go over to the candy lady. Oh, I got a candy lady story. I didn't remember that. You need to be careful who you let your kids go over to their house, because them older people can't be utilizing their energy. If you notice all of a sudden your kids coming home sick and tired, all of a sudden when they got all the energy and health in the world, just try to remember who house you let them over. Their energy can be used to keep old people living for a long time. That's why sometimes you may see older people who live a very, very long time tend to be surrounded by a lot of young people most of the time. But yes, so that is the movie, The Skeleton's Key. I actually enjoyed that a little bit more than Spell, I believe, just because it had a lot of different magical elements in there. With the mirrors, you guys know I told you in my mirror video, I'll link that down below as well. When you first enter into your home, you want to make sure you cleanse all the mirrors that's in that home, because every reflection that has been shown in that mirror is stored in that mirror. So therefore, their energy is still there. You know how eyes are like the key to the soul. So imagine when you look in the mirror, you're looking at your direct reflection diving directly into your soul, and the mirror holds all that energy and interactions in that. So if you have a mirror that's been in a home where people are arguing, you may notice a lot of tension and arguments take place. So you just want to get rid of that old energy. I just talked so much. Lordy. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Let me know if you guys watched The Skeleton's Key down below. What do you guys think of the movie? And let me know if any other movies or shows you want me to watch. But thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. And like I say, As above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. This video will make until next time, you guys.
That was lovely. That was very, 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 very lovely, honey. How lovely that was. Hey, Yento, honey. Let me tell you something. Now, mind you, she came across a few things that were really, really on point, especially old folks, concerning old folks and energy. That is so, so true. Very, very true. There are a few elders in my neighborhood where my nana from, where we all from, and we literally, they would tell us, no, you can't go over our house, you can't go over his house, can't go over our house. And I always used to wonder too, that is so true. Gotta be careful who you sing your young people, whose house you sing your young folks to, because they definitely, old folks, conjure elders can tap into young people's energy big time. And it absolutely does happen. Now, when it comes to mirrors, honey, us hoodoos and conjures, y'all know how I feel about mirrors. You don't even deal with mirrors. If your mirror is unattended, you are inviting trouble. And I'm sure as hell not gonna get no secondhand mirror from nobody. Hell to the no. That mirror got a body, a life, and a soul in it that I don't want no part of. If the mirror ain't new, I don't want it. Because mirrors can be a lot of trouble. Even if I have a mirror cabinet or shutters for that mirror, if it's secondhanded, you're going to be dealing with that spirit, and I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. So, no, not at all, honey. But listen, that Papa Justified and trading of souls, honey, and metaphysical conjure. That metaphysical conjure is a thing, and it's not talked about now. Watch a skeleton key tomorrow. Can that really be a thing? Can you really transfer your soul into other people's bodies? Do I feel that you can do things like that? I do feel you can. I absolutely do feel you can do that. And I feel that it's been done before. Do I know how to do it? Absolutely not. I don't know how it's done. I have no idea. But I feel that the metaphysical aspect of conjure, I feel that that's absolutely possible. I really do. Seems like she has a good amount of knowledge under her belt as well. It was pretty good, absolutely pretty good knowledge, definitely. She's a young baby. Wonderful, wonderful knowledge that was there. So go follow her. She's absolutely fabulous. That was Yaya Witch, a Black Witch Yaya. Absolutely wonderful, and I enjoyed her presentation. Now that's just me, y'all. And the only reason why I feel that something like that can happen, because I've seen Nana and Papa do all kinds of things, honey. Stuff you see in movies. I've seen them do kinds of things. And I do feel that's possible. Absolutely do feel that's possible, definitely. Stage. There we go. Oh, there we go right there. Oh, here I go. So I absolutely do feel that that's possible. So how is everybody? I hope you're doing fine. I'm doing fine. I'm over here working and getting this conjure together. Speaking about my own conjure, as per usual. Definitely. No, but that was wonderful, honey. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all. Well, it's late, and I'm going to keep working into the night. Just keep working. But listen, y'all, I had a good time. I hope you had a good time. Tried a little Supernatural Saturday. Was a little bit different than usually is. But we had fun. Definitely had fun. So listen, y'all, be good. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you. And I am off and running. I hope this whole going over from YouTube and all this, I may have to keep them separate because the energies are different. They're a little bit different. So instead of just showing all at the same time, I may end up keeping them separate because energy-wise, I don't feel that watch them at the same time, I don't feel that that's a good thing. You can't, because I can't give my undivided attention to. I can't do two, because one, I don't have the equipment to do it, but also two, it'll end up. You can't split your energy like that. Yeah, the Skeleton Key it's a good movie. It's one of the few movies that I really, really, really respect because it does really tap into some really good content. Technically and conceptually, whoever consulted on the movie. So a lot of these movies, when they deal with the occult, when they deal with magic, when they deal with Southern folklore, you have to have a consultant to make sure that the movie is absolutely true form and what they're talking about, they're really talking about. And Skeleton Key is one of the few movies that absolutely has aspects of it that really are true to form, to true Conjure. There are a lot of things in it that feel and that I've heard of before, true to Conjure. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the effort, and I enjoy the work behind it. But y'all, listen, take care of yourself, and thank you so very much for all of your loving care. And I will talk to y'all tomorrow. But thank you again. I'm going to talk to you soon. Bye-bye, y'all. All right, everybody, listen, be good. Take care of yourself. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all on Clubhouse, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye, everybody. I love you. Thank you, everybody. Ba-ba-dum. Ba-ba-dum.